All right, and we're live. We are live right now. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan. Thank you all for joining. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, which right here with me live on the show. I definitely appreciate you for that. We got a whole lot going on. First and foremost, Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your holiday responsibly. Hopefully nobody got drunk and got into a crazy car accident or nothing like that. Thank you all for being here. You could be anywhere, but you're here. 2020 is upon us, and there's still no front runner in the Democratic Party. Who are they going to pick? Is it going to be Creepy Joe, Pocahontas, Booty Gig, Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, or some, off chance person like Andrew Yang? Who is it going to be? Also, the woke Pope laying a smackdown on the parishioner at the Vatican. Now, I'm not going to argue the moral point of view of the Pope. I'm not a Catholic, so I don't really understand that. All I'm saying is that he talks about all these issues, Trump being immoral when it comes to the border wall and stuff like that. So we can't protect our space. We can't protect our personal sovereignty, but he can protect his space and his personal sovereignty. Slapping ladies in the Vatican and all of that kind of stuff. That's fine, right? If you're gonna be that way as an instant reaction, that's who you are. And stand on that. Don't be hiding behind anything. Just stand on that and be that same way all the time. We'll get to all those issues and to more and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate y'all for being here. You could be anywhere, but you're right here with me. I definitely appreciate you for that. You got the man Calzone hating already. Stop being a hater, sir. I ain't gonna block you. I'm gonna just time you out, because you got some people that come into the chat. They're big fans. They're first in the chat, last to leave. They're big fans, but they gotta hate. So it's all good. Thank y'all for being here. Happy New Year to you. We got quite a bit happening. Shout out to the woke Pope, Pope Francis. Slapping ladies in the Vatican. That was wild. That was really wild. Some people rightfully so say, hey, that's not a man of God right there. That's not how a man of God should be. And I agree. But I'm not surprised that the Pope would be like that, because at the end of the day, he's not a god. He's just a regular person. There's one thing I don't like with some people is that they praise the Pope like he's isn't that called idol worship? Isn't that why part of the reason, not the only reason, obviously, but isn't that part of the reason why Protestantism came to be? Because they were tired of popery. Haven't there been wars and other conflicts fought over Catholicism and different branches of Christianity? Yeah, the Pope has been before a good example, but right now, I'm not really sure. This whole thing with the hand slapping is not really that big on my list. I'm talking about all these woke issues, climate change, and not really following the traditions. Just not a good Pope, in my humble opinion. Coming from the outside as a non-Catholic, I think he's just not a very good Pope. And I feel sorry for all the people I know that are Catholic, very good people, that have to deal with that guy being the face of their religion. I feel really bad for that. Now, Catholics, I got to say, Catholics are Christian. Yes, they are. You got three branches of Christianity. Well, three main branches. Then you have smaller branches. You have Catholicism, the biggest. Then Protestantism, the second biggest. And lastly, what's that? Eastern or Western Orthodox. That's like the Greeks. That's what they do. And then you have up under those branches, different branches. Okay, but they are Christians. But the Pope is a mess. This whole hand slapping thing, and then he apologized, talking about, oh, that's not a good example to set. It's like, come on, man, you just reacted like that because the person is, just be real. Like, I don't like all the lying and the fake stuff and the hypocrisy. Just be real, man. Just say the person tried to grab me and I knocked their hand away. Don't sit up there and lie. If you're going to be a man that represents a faith, don't get on the stand and lie in front of all your people. That's just not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's definitely no John Paul II Go woke, go broke. Exactly, G Carjalo. 1000%. You already got it. So yeah, but that situation was crazy. Now, what do y'all think? Do you think he was right to do what he did? Do you think it's a hypocrite for, being a pope but doing stuff like that? Um, but one thing I gotta say, any important figure that has, that's important enough to have security at all times, you can't just reach out and grab them. Imagine if somebody were to grab a president or somebody like that just in the crowd. You can't do that. So the person was wrong, and they could have been Chinese. I don't know, but if they were Chinese, then I kind of understand why they did that. The Chinese, when they go travel, they don't really have a lot of manners, but different story. I digress. The point is that you can't just do whatever you want. At the same time, if you are the Pope, you got to handle things a little bit differently, I suppose, just because of your position in religion. But yeah, definitely don't be trying to be some kind of idol that people worship on earth. I think that's the wrong thing to do. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they worship idols. Like I say, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know everything. Some of you guys in the chat may be Catholic. Maybe you know more than me. That's a good question. Eli Jones says, "I wonder if the lady's still alive." Hey man, you never know. Sometimes with these people in high places, you never know how they handle things. The lady still might be kicking. Maybe she's not. I don't know. But oh yeah, and that's one thing that's right. Arch Angelos, they asked, "What shall be done to the homo demon priests?" There you go, bingo. While the Pope's out here slapping ladies at the Vatican, talking about climate change and talking about how inhumane the border wall is, I think the focus should be on all these priests touching the boys in the church and the girls, but mostly the boys. That should be the focus. Do you know the age of consent at the Vatican at one point recently was 12 years old? Then they changed it to 18. It was like, all right, come on. Like, we know what's going on. Tighten that up first. Just fix that problem because, like I said, I know a lot of Catholics. They're very good people, but they know it's a problem in the church with the priests touching the little boys. That's the problem that we all know exists. So focus on just fixing that rather than trying to be the woke Pope, And if you're gonna be the Pope and you're gonna be woke, you gotta carry that all the time. You can't be having lapses going back to Italy when you would just slap somebody in the street. You know what I mean? You can't be. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that. Now he didn't slap her like Ike Turner like in the face. What he did was, matter of fact, I can show you better than I can tell you. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull a video up right quick so you can kind of just see what happened. It wasn't that bad in my humble opinion. Like, I think anybody that was right there probably would have done the same thing. That's what I think. So I don't think it was really that bad. But for the Pope, I think there may be a different level of, what can I say? A different level of expectation as far as his behavior is concerned. Hold on. Let me go ahead and just pull it up. And let's turn the volume off so that doesn't interfere. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so the sound is off, but you can see what's happening right here on the screen. This is New Year's Eve at the Vatican at St. Peter's Basilica. He's just going around the crowd, shaking hands, waving, just doing the whole thing. Talking to the parishioners, just going through the crowd, hanging out. All right. Now keep an eye on this lady right here who could be Chinese. I'm not really sure, but probably so. All right. So shaking hands. Everybody's nice. Now, you see what she did right there. If you didn't catch it, matter of fact, can I slow this down? There we go. Cool. Let's slow it down. So now you see her grab out. Now he's not looking at her, right? He's kind of like off looking somewhere else, probably getting ready to bounce, right? But she's like, no, come on back. So she grabs his hand and then she like pulls him, she jerks him back. So he's like, what's going on here? At that point, I'm thinking, okay, Pope, you about to get back into your Argentina, Italy, whatever. Get that left hand, hit it with the hook, bong. But he didn't do that. He was just trying to get his hand free. So She's like, no, you're not going anywhere, sir. I need to talk to you. And, and finally he just says, okay, enough is enough. Get your hand off me. That type of thing. And then she has to get restrained by the security. And that's pretty much it. And he's mad. He's like probably cussing right there at that particular point in time. All that Pope stuff, take off all these robes and this little hat, all that. I'm going back to the street. That's pretty much what he was saying. All right. And you see his face, pretty angry. Now, I'm not sure if a Pope should be looking like that or should be behaving like that. I understand. Like, if it was me, I'd have done that. But if you're the Pope, should you be doing that? I don't know. Like I say, I'm not a Catholic. I don't know all about the popery or whatever. So you guys in the chat, you let me know. But that's pretty much what happened. He didn't Ike turn her, slap her, or nothing like that. He just kind of like, slapped her wrist. And that was pretty much the extent of it. So it wasn't really a big deal, in my humble opinion. Just a quick slap, boom. Like I said in my on my Twitter, that's pretty much the punishment that the Catholic priests get when they get caught with the boys, slapping on the wrist, which is what he should be focusing on, trying to punish these priests appropriately rather than giving them the proverbial slap on the wrist. But I digress. That was pretty much the extent of that. All right. Yeah, he popped her hand like he was a mama, exactly. I'd have been slapped harder than that in the house. But yeah, for the Pope, I don't know. That might not be very good optics for him. Or the way that a Pope should treat his parishioners. I really don't see, I've never seen that before from a religious figure. But then again, I don't really understand the relationship people have with the Pope. They may see him as like a deity. Like I said, I don't know. That's not really my lane. Yep. Let me see. I'm just reading some of the comments here. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All right. And like I said, the Chinese, they don't really care. They pretty much do whatever they want. Like when they travel, they don't, that's a stereotype about them. Now, maybe I'm being racist, whatever, but I see what I see all the time. That's just kind of how they operate when they travel. If they're from mainland China, not Hong Kong or Macau or Taiwan, if they're from mainland like Shanghai, Beijing, they act like that. That's kind of just what they do. That's not even abnormal at all. Yeah, musicians, that's kind of how, like, imagine if Michael Jackson were to walk through a crowd. He couldn't do nothing like that. He would get mobbed instantly. Or, any musician, any very powerful, not powerful necessarily, but just any really a high profile celebrity, people that get a lot of attention wherever they go, that's kind of how they be treated. Getting grabbed on and tugged on, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, his facial expression was like, man, you better get off me, getting ready to fight. All right. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, please hit the like button for me. I definitely appreciate that. The next time I do a stream, I'm going to be streaming on a different camera. You may see in my videos, I have like a little bit of a different look to it. Once I get my cord to power the camera all the time, I'll be able to do a live stream with it. Right now, I'm still on the webcam, but I do have my trusted Sony over there right in the center of the screen, and I'll be able to do a little bit better quality video for you. Am I coming to Richmond on January 20th? I'm going to try to get out there. I'm going to try to get out there because I've been hearing about that. I've been getting calls about that, like on my personal phone. People are calling me and saying, hey, are you going? I'm going to try to go to Richmond on the 20th. Being that I'm from Virginia, this whole thing means a lot to me. And if you guys don't know what the person was talking about, in Richmond, Virginia, January 20th, there's going to be some kind of rally of sorts for the Second Amendment issue. Ralph Northam is trying to pass this law that requires guns get registered to some kind of state registry. That's going to be a big time problem because all they're going to do at that particular point is have a list of where to go when it comes time to confiscate weapons, which is the next step. That's everybody know where we're going. Some are going to say, oh, they didn't pass any kind of law like that yet, but we know how they operate. We know how, quote unquote, progressives progress. They do one small thing and then they build on that to do other bigger things. So I'll be trying to get to Virginia on January 20th for that particular purpose. Come back to Georgia. Hey, I'm right here in Georgia. I can come to Georgia anytime. If there's an event or anything like that in Georgia, I'll come on out. Atlanta ain't nothing but a hop, skip, and the jump. I can drive there with no problem. Uh, Richmond's probably a little bit further away from me, but I can still get there. That's not really an issue. Now, okay, Vincier says here are the relevant gun control related bills they are trying to be passed in Virginia: SB 16, SB 18, SB 64, SB 67 that you should know about. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking out for that. But yeah, the whole thing in Virginia, they're trying to eventually just confiscate weapons. The current attorney general tried that some years ago, but he failed because Virginia at the time had Republican majority in their government, in the local government. The governor was not a Republican. I think it was at the time Terry McAuliffe, but the state government was Republican. But now that the state government is Democrat, the same people are going to try to do the same thing they tried years ago and were not successful in being able to do. So keep an eye on that for sure, 100%. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try to get out there and see what's going on with it. That's right, Silverado Shooting Academy. The only reason for registration is eventual confiscation. That's what they want to do. Because what's the other real purpose in doing it? It's because you want to have a list of where they go. Okay, we're going to take guns away. We're going to confiscate. We're going to engage in martial law, whatever they want to say. Here's a list. Go to their houses, take their guns. And if they don't, then it's going to be a problem. And a lot of these guys, man, they're not going to go for it. These guys up in the hills and even in the cities are not going to go for it. They don't understand how much Virginians really depend upon their weapons. The case in Texas is kind of, a case study for being able to have your guns and not have them taken away from you and being able to have your gun wherever you need it. There was a law in Texas that was recently passed in September of 2019 that said you're able to have your weapon inside of a place of worship, a church, probably a mosque, synagogue, or whatever. So that particular church were exercising their right to have their weapons. This guy comes in there crazy with a sawed-off shotgun, starts shooting people. Within 5 seconds, my man Jack Wilson pulls his P229 weapon, a 357 6 Sauer. He pulls that out from his hip, bangs him from about 30 feet away, about 30, 40 feet away, bangs him one shot in the head. And then you had other church members that were right there with their weapons. So if he misses, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more people that had their weapons out and ready to shoot. He had no chance to come in there and engage in a mass shooting. A mass shooting did not happen. A mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people that get shot at once. In this case, there were only 3. So a mass shooting was prevented. If it were not for those that were in the church armed, then it would have been a mass shooting. Simple. You can call the police, but at that point, it's too late. The police will come after the fact to collect the evidence and to see what happened. But they're not going to be there as security when you call them after a situation starts. So you don't want to have guns taken away. You want to be able to have them to defend yourself. Okay? Miriam Vidal says, mess with God's hour, get to 6 hour. Mess with God's hour, get to 6 hour. I like that. Put it on the t-shirt. Molly Smile says a problem in people leaving liberal cities is moving to red states and still voting blue, possibly turning red states blue. Yeah, that's what happens a lot. Like, that's Virginia right there. People moved from other places to Northern Virginia, and then they voted blue, and they turned kind of what at one point was a red state back in the day, like in the 80s and the 90s. It was a red state to a purple state, now to a solidly blue state because of Northern Virginia, Hampton Roads, Richmond, and maybe even a little bit of Roanoke, but mostly Northern Virginia. 1/3 of the state population is in Northern Virginia, and that's basically Washington, D.C.'s suburb. And they pretty much all vote blue. Not everybody up there votes blue, but more people vote. You have more blue voters up there than anywhere else in the state. That's pretty much how that works. Dawn Love says Shooter was mad because church was only giving him food and no money. See, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's the entitlement, mentality. Give me everything I want, or I'm gonna just go kill people. How does that even make any sense? How about go out there and work for yourself, and how about you go out there and do what the church members do in order to provide you with the food? Then if you did that, you'd be able to get money, and if you kind of having a hard time with food, you'd be able to get food from the church. It's simple. All right. Old Lady Fish says, you should have been here last night. My neighbor pulled out his military Vietnam machine gun. Oh my God, I never want something like that aimed at me. Yeah, you don't want no machine gun pointing in your direction, because once that thing gets going, it ain't really going to stop no time soon. You definitely don't want that anywhere near you at all. But shout out to your neighbor for having the gun and, being responsible. Hopefully didn't let it off at all. I know it was New Year's Eve last night and people were shooting their weapons. And by the way, if you're going to shoot a gun, shoot that gun like in a place where there's nobody at. Because I saw a story in UK where a lady got killed from a bullet that fell from the sky. Somebody was shooting their gun up in the sky and the bullet came down, struck her and killed her. Now, that's probably rare to happen, but it can happen, especially in a populationally in the places like high population, a big density of people. You don't want to shoot your gun in a place like that because it may, enter somebody's home. Somebody's outside, it may fall on them. Don't do that. If you're gonna do it in a place where ain't nobody yet. Just do it safely. That's all I gotta say. Who drop out first, Steyer or Bloomberg? That's a good question. That's a very good question, actually. Probably Tom Steyer, because Bloomberg is actually. I take that back. No. Actually, I'll take it back again. Probably Tom Steyer, because Tom Steyer is not doing what Bloomberg is doing. Bloomberg is trying to run interference against Trump, and he may do that for quite a long time, probably for some months, with no intention of trying to become the president. He's just getting past the campaign finance law. He's able to spend millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on negative campaign ads. He may do that throughout the entirety of the campaign cycle with no intention of becoming the president. That just might be kind of a personal thing he's doing for himself. If you want to spend $500 million on campaign ads, then so be it. With no intention of winning, go ahead. You can do that. It ain't going to make a difference. All you're going to do really is just put money in the pockets of ad executives and the networks. So if you want to boost the economy that way, then go for it, because you have no chance of being able to win and you know it. So go ahead. And the ads will make a difference. Look at how much money Hillary Clinton had in 2016 versus Donald Trump. Donald Trump is outraising all of the Democratic candidates. So, it'll kind of even out. If Trump is able to get more money than any Democratic candidate, like let's say he's able to get like over $1 billion in campaign contributions versus Democrats getting like 700,000, million, and Tom Steyer or Bloomberg put in like the rest to match up to Trump, it won't make a difference, because Trump's still going to win. And the money won't necessarily exceed what Trump is getting anyway. So if anything, you'll probably even out when it is all said and done, from the money that Bloomberg puts in from himself as far as campaign ads and the money that a particular individual candidate will raise for their own campaign. So let's say you have Pocahontas, right? She might raise $500 million for her campaign in total. If Bloomberg puts in $500 million, you got $1 billion. Trump may be able to raise more than that by himself without having a dummy candidate coming in there, bypass the campaign finance law. And it don't even matter, because like I said, last time Trump had half the money and still won. So if he has the equivalent amount of money with a stronger approval rating and he's the incumbent, how is he going to lose? It doesn't make any sense. Raymundo says, if President Trump signs another garbage bill for Planned Parenthood, I'm voting ABL. Now, what Planned Parenthood bill is that? But what else we got here? Hold on. Let me see. I just want to check out, see what topics I got on deck. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely, yet again, if you like what you're hearing so far, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate that tremendously. But what do we got going on here? Let's see. We have. Oh, speaking about the election in 2020, Joe Biden. How are you going to go on stage to talk about coal miners in a negative way? Again, the Democrats have learned nothing. They don't understand what they're doing. I think some Democrats legitimately think that the reason why they lost is because of Russia and their interference. The reason why they lost is not because of Russia. Russia is, just an excuse they've made up for themselves. Maybe they've said it so much, they've repeated the lie so much that they're starting to believe it. Russia ain't the reason. The reason why the Democrats have not been successful so far as, trying to become the president, talking about 2016 and also the most recent polls, they're not doing very well against Trump. The reason why is because they're not in tune with the average everyday American. The average person living in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, when you come out and say we're going to kill coal jobs, they're like, okay, I'm not voting for you. Very simple. Then you want to insult them on top of that. Not only are you saying you're going to kill coal jobs, you're going to insult them. Oh, that's a way of the past. It's an old thing. You got to get with the times, learn how to code. You're insulting them. So why would they vote for you? Like I say, I'm from Virginia, grew up in Virginia, but I was born in West Virginia. My family on both sides come from West Virginia. My great-grandfather was a coal miner for 20 years. We live right there in Charleston, Canal County. It's coal country. So I know about coal miners. You go up there and say, we're going to kill coal jobs. You have no way of being able to win. It's impossible. Anything like Ohio too, same thing. And like Morgantown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's the same thing. You're not going to be able to win. It's insulting. You just pretty much said, okay, we're not going to get Ohio. We're not going to get West Virginia or Pennsylvania. We're not going to get it. Or if we do get Pennsylvania, it's because of Philadelphia. It won't be because of Western Pennsylvania, which is where you need to get. And I think Pennsylvania did go Trump in 2016. Am I correct? I mean, how are you going to be able to win when you are disrespecting people that live there? When you out, that's bipartisan. That's not a Democrat, Republican. That's bipartisan. Okay, you have Democrats in these places, like in these rural towns. It's not all red, quiet as it's kept, because West Virginia voted for my man. I always forget his name. Joe Manchin. They voted for him. He's a Democrat. Been a Democrat for a long time. They voted for him, but all of them are going to vote against you if you say you're going to kill coal jobs. It don't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever. That's a issue that they're going to vote on or against, depending upon where you are. If you say you're for coal, then they may vote for you if you have everything else in order. Same thing if you're against it. If you're against coal, then it's just, all right, we're not even going to, you may be correct in other areas, but you're not going to be right on that issue. So, learn the code. I don't see why they are doing the same thing over and over again. The meme was all over Twitter in 2019, right around this time. At the end of January 2019 is when it blew up. People were getting triggered. Journalists were, because people were telling them when they got laid off, hey, learn how to code. You want to tell coal miners to code because they got laid off due to EPA regulations and whatnot. You learn how to code now. You don't have a job. BuzzFeed laid you off. You learn how to code. People were getting offended. People were getting reported because of that, talking about this is targeted harassment, this, that, and the third. Nah, learn how to code. Here comes Biden saying the exact same thing yet again. They've not learned. But hey, for me, it just helps. If you don't want to learn, if you don't want to adjust, if you don't want to, change the way you're doing things, that's fine. All you're going to do is just help yourself lose. And for me, that works out very well. 100%. Yep. So, hey, shout out to Joe Biden. I can't wait for the debates. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I want. Yeah, Don Love, West Virginia, and the minor is pretty much done. It's not because of anything else other than the regulations. The mines are closing because of the regulations, and it's a shame. You have automation and mountaintop clearing and stuff like that, but the mines were still going up until a lot of regulations closed them. Thank Obama for that. And you want to keep on closing them? It's like, come on, what are we doing? All right, but I can't wait until Biden and Trump have their first debate. And before I say that, do you guys think that Biden will get a nomination? Is it going to be Biden or is it going to be somebody else? Pocahontas, maybe? Booty Gig is still kind of in there. How about a long shot like Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang? Who is it going to be? I don't see anybody else that can actually grab it other than Joe Biden. I just don't really see who else could. Now, of course, Biden's not a good candidate, but he's polling, I think, the best out of all of them. Bernie's polling very well in New Hampshire, but what about everywhere else? New Hampshire's a small place. What about other places that have, a little bit more of an influence, electoral vote-wise, that are not kind of like off in the cut in Northwestern America? Northeastern America. Where is he polling highlight that anywhere else? Iowa, South Carolina? What's really going on? Bloomberg, is Bloomberg gonna get a nomination? Really? How is Bloomberg gonna be able to get it? Pocahontas. Now Hillary, I've been hearing about Hillary for a long time, but I think that it's a little bit too late for her. Even for Hillary, who has all the money, all the connections, all the resources, I think it'll still be a little bit too late for Hillary to come into the race. I believe so. Gabbard, biggest threat. Oh yeah, Michelle. Hey, I saw, but Biden said that he may pick a Republican vice president. Now that's not going to actually work for him. That's not going to work at all. He may think, or his team may think, by picking the Republican vice president, he'll be able to get some of the moderate Republicans that don't like Trump. But it's not enough of them to make a difference. It's not enough of them at all. These people may exist in D.C., but not in the regular world, not where I'm at. Where I'm at, I see pop-up shops selling Trump merchandise. You don't see anybody supporting anybody on the Democratic side, even if they're on the left. You don't see anybody wearing shirts or merch or nothing like that. Nobody's excited about the Democrats. So that's not going to work out. The Democrats that want to vote for a Joe Biden are not going to like a person on the right. And those of us that are on the right are not going to vote for a Democrat to spite Trump. The most we do is vote for a person in the we're not even going to vote for anybody else in the primary. So who's going to vote for the Democrat with a Republican vice president? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not really sure why we even say that. Maybe he was just trying to be bipartisan at the time. It might have been the question that was asked to him, but he won't do that. I think he'll probably pick a so-called person of color. And that's going to be funny. If he picks a person of color, the narrative will be, you got to have them be number 2 in charge. They're going to be the mate, is that, and the third. Because that was already asked. Remember, Kamala Harris was asked about that or something similar to it, talking about, do you want to be Biden's vice president? And she was like, well, he can be my vice president. So if she has that kind of attitude now, it probably won't change when it comes time for him to vote or to nominate somebody to be the vice president. It'll probably be somebody that we don't know, just a random person. That'll probably be what it is. And that'll probably be the best thing for him to do. Either way it goes, it don't even matter. He'll still lose. EJT says, I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and all I see is Trump signs in people's yards. There you go. Exactly. Everywhere. I see that. I see Trump signs, bumper stickers. I saw a Chinese man in a Chinese restaurant. He might have spoke 2 words of English. I'm not being funny. I'm just being dead serious. I talked to him, but he couldn't really understand what I was saying. But he had on the Trump hat, just chilling, minding his own, reading the newspaper. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any enthusiasm for the other side at all. Like zero, none. That's just what I'm seeing in the world. And I've been traveling a little bit. You see some people that are kind of on the left. Like airports especially, you see them at airports. You see them kind of like walking around. If I have on the Trump hat, they may kind of be looking a little salty, but they don't have anything going that they don't represent their team. They're not enthusiastic about who they want to vote for. They always got kind of a sad look on their face. There's never a smile, never any joy. It's like, man, this is going to be too easy. Too easy. Now, I'm hearing about AOC trying to become the president in 2024 because she'll be 35 by then. I said that months ago that she may try to run, and hey, it could happen. It could happen. She could run. Now, will she win? No, she won't win. She barely. The only reason why she won the seat she has now is because it was vulnerable, and there was money placed behind her. The guy who had that seat before, I think his name was Joe Crowley. He did not take her seriously. He did not do anything. He was just kind of like going through the motions, whatever. Okay. Now, she won that because of the money that was infused and it was vulnerable. But you're talking about the president, that's a whole different ball of wax. They're going to get into your background. They're going to put you on stage. You got to debate. Imagine seeing AOC debate somebody on the right. Get somebody sharp up there. It could be anybody. Like Mike Pence, people think that Mike Pence is like, super calm, cool and collected, and he is. But let's just say for argument's sake that he was to run in 2024 for the president, he would smoke anybody in a debate on the left. I've seen him debate before or make a case in the court. Fiery passion. I'm telling you, right now he's just playing like the straight man to Trump's, just loud and bombastic character. You got to have that balance. He's just playing balance. But if he's out there and it's just him, he'll go hard. Trust and believe. Mike Pence is not a joke at all. Mike Pence is more harsh than Trump is. So if it were him against AOC, she would have no chance. She'd be on stage crying tears. What I want to see is a person get on stage and start crying during the debate. That's what I want to see. Oh, you're being cruel, ABL. Nah, I'm just saying. This is politics. It ain't nothing personal. But I want to see that. I want to see somebody start breaking down during the debate because they can't handle the pressure. If that were to happen, then they're done. They're totally finished. AOC, not built for this, in my humble opinion. Let me see. But we got people on super chatting, so I'm going to go to read those right quick. Thank you all for super chatting. I appreciate you guys 1,000%. Shout out to, let me see, Matt, who says they don't debate anyone who disagrees with or them. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Libtard Tees, who says, hello, Anthony. I'm so proud of what you're doing. Check for my email. I'll be on the lookout for that. Thank you for the donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to G Cards for the donation. Definitely appreciate you as well. Thank you to Pineappleotomus. I know I butchered the name and I'm sorry, who says, thoughts on 666 being the carbon atom crazy? I don't know anything about that, but that does sound crazy. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Miley Smile, who says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you to my man that I met. I can't pronounce your name right here, Riquet, but I know you are, who says, a Pope is an Argentinian communist SJW, does not like capitalism, quiet on Venezuela. There you go, 100%. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Boris, who says, greetings from Panama. Big fan of your videos. Hey, thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you for that. Super chat. And thank you all for joining. Hopefully your new year has been very good so far. I don't have any resolutions at all. No resolutions. I'm gonna just try to keep on pushing the good word out there and letting everything be known to the public. That's my job. So I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna keep on being myself. What I do want to do is maybe some more interviews with people, both being on their channel as well as having them come on my channel. And I do have a new camera set up. It's not active right now, but I'll be using that for when I go on television to have a little bit more of a professional appearance so people can see me be the same as everybody else as far as just how I appear on camera. So that'd be what I got going on. But that's pretty much it. More merchandise will be coming. Just doing more, just keeping on progressing as I have been doing. Nothing else really. No resolutions, because when you do that, I think it's hard to kind of keep to it. You put pressure on yourself to do it, and it don't really happen all the time. All right. So, okay, Vincier says, 2 key dates are coming up in the fight for the Second Amendment. The NRA will be holding a rally on January 13th, and Virginia CDL will be holding a rally on January 20th, both at the Virginia Capitol. in Richmond, Virginia. Okay. So I think I'm gonna try to go to the one on the 20th for sure. And that's pretty much it. Let me see. The Virginia CDL Lobby Day will be the biggest and most important event ever for protect the Second Amendment Virginia rights. January 20th, 2020, starting at 8 a.m. Virginia State Capitol, 900 East Main Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23219. Okay, I'll check it out. So if you're in Virginia, if you're in the Richmond area, go check it out and support. But I'm gonna try to get there for sure. All right. So what else we got here? Yeah, there's no enthusiasm, Charles Turner. No, the left, anytime I see him, there's kind of like anger, kind of disappointment, resentment. I don't see any happy faces, no smiles, just kind of a sad overall demeanor. It's pretty pathetic in my humble opinion, but hey, it is what it is. That's just, it's all. What are you really gonna do? Yep. But thank y'all for being here. What else we got going on? It's quite a few things happening actually. Like I said, I'm ready for the primaries to really get rocking and rolling. That'll be here before you know it. Oh, and the whole thing with Iraq, that's kind of a complicated situation. What I don't want to happen is for the troops that have been sent to calm the situation to stay there and then multiply into a force that may try to invade Iran. One thing I always see with Iran is that they like doing these little proxy battles. They'll send a militia to Iraq to quote unquote protest outside of the consulate or whatever. They want to protest there, starting trouble, and then we got to come fight them. So they want to have these little proxy battles. They don't want to engage in the fight directly. Like they're not going to send their people with their military to come fight us. That's gonna just be bad for them. They already got a bad economy with the sanctions. That's already bad enough. Then they're gonna put on top of that the whole thing with the with having a direct conflict with the United States. That's just gonna be bad overall for business, for the country, for the people. I don't know. That's the whole thing. We need to just kind of get away from there. I'm not really sure what the best way to do that is. Trump's been trying to get out of it, but I think we could do a better job of getting out of those conflicts. But then it could be a matter of asking the question, why are we there? People ask the question, but do we get an answer? We got to get the answer to the question, why are we there? What's the purpose? Some are going to just make up stuff, but I want to hear a direct answer from whoever has the authority to answer it. Not this whole thing of, we're fighting Israel's wars. Give me the real reason why we're there. Give me an actual legitimate reason and not just, because of whatever you feel like. Give me the real reason why we're there. If it's a legitimate reason, then okay. If it's not, then okay. Act on if it's legitimate or illegitimate and have that be that. Yeah, but Iran, they've been trying to draw us in. They'll just do a little thing. They'll capture a vessel that kind of gets in their territorial water. If a piece of the sail on the boat gets into their territorial water, they'll capture it and be like, oh, you came into our water. Stuff like that they'll do. That's kind of how they operate. So, yeah, I saw that talking about, Joy Reid said that this thing with the Iraqi consulate is like Trump's Benghazi. How does it make any sense? Nobody died. I mean, Obama and them, Hillary Clinton, left them to die. Just say, all right, man, whatever, and then said it was a YouTube video, all this, that, and the third. This ain't nowhere near that. Nobody died. Like, that's the key thing you got to talk about when you talk about Benghazi, was the fact that people died in Benghazi. Nobody died here. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But it's really not Benghazi. People are weird. In the media, they're really strange. They try to push things that don't even make any sense, that don't actually go together. Nobody died as far as I know, ICAS 80. That's what I'm trying to say. People like Joyanne Reid don't really understand that fact. Or maybe they do, but they want to say things that don't make any sense because that's just what they've been told to do. It's like this whole thing with Russia. They want to keep saying Russia's bad, Russia this, Russia that, with no evidence of Russia being this or that. They're just saying things just because they want to say it, not because it's actually true. It is what it is. They broke in and stood around. Yeah, Joanne Reed, like that whole network is trash. Chuck Todd, speaking about trash networks, NBC, Chuck Todd talking about what did he say? He said, oh, he was talking about fake news and how there was fake news farm of sorts that put out articles on the internet in Macedonia and how it got shut down or whatever the case may be. Then he transitioned away from that and was talking about fake news in general and was speaking about why people support Trump, although they quote unquote know, maybe in his mind that he's not really being genuine. And he read a letter to quote unquote prove his statement. And it came from an alleged Trump voter that now does not vote Trump. And the letter was talking about basically people want to believe whatever they want. They believe in fairy tales. And if you can find a person that believes in Noah's Ark, then you got a Trump voter because they believe in fairy tales. So basically the letter was saying that if you believe in Noah's Ark, you believe in fairy tales. And Chuck Todd read that. So that means that he endorses it. If he did not endorse it, then he wouldn't have read it. There would be no point to reading it if you don't endorse it. He read the letter to prove a point. So basically you saying that Christianity, bunch of fairy tales. All right. So you want to insult Christians, right? But would you do that with Islam? Would you say that the Prophet Muhammad was fake and phony? And if you believe in him, then you believe in fairy tales? No, you wouldn't. If a letter said that, you would not read that letter. You would not say yourself without reading a letter. You know, you just wouldn't say that on your airwaves at all, period, regardless of whether you read a letter or not. You would not use that to prove a point at all or for any other reason. You just simply wouldn't read it. Why? Because you want to protect Islam and not Christianity. I see what's going on here. It's pretty weird. Let me see. But yeah, Chuck Todd is a nut. But Chuck Todd has been a nut for a long time. But like I said, mainstream media, they're going down the tubes. I'm not even sure what the strategy is at this particular point in time. Maybe they're trying to hold on to those that they have been able to gain over the past few years. All the anti-Trump coverage has created some kind of industry of anti-Trump people. You can just cater to them, market to them, and say whatever makes them feel good, ignoring facts. You know, you turn to Jimmy Fallon, not Jimmy Fallon, him to a certain extent, but more Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel at this point is the anti-Trump network. If you get on there, it's going to be gossip about how horrible Trump is. They'll say anything. They'll insult anybody to attack Trump. It's just like this whole thing with not Benghazi, but the Russian investigation. You want to arrest all these people on ticky-tack charges to try and get at Trump with no success in being able to do so. It's the same thing the mainstream media does when they try to attack Christianity, Christians in general, anybody to launch a dig at Trump. There was no reason to attack innocent everyday Christians. Talking about your religion is fairy tales, there was no reason to do that. But since it was attacking Trump at the same time, that's why he did it. You know, it's really weird, but hey, it is what it is. But what else we got going on here? Thank you all for joining. Definitely appreciate you. We got a lot happening. I wanted to read something right quick, but I lost it in the sauce. Super chats on deck. Thank you to Matt, who says Gaddafi sent weapons to ISIL. That's Benghazi scandal. Gotcha. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Chief Rocker says, peace, ABL, do what you do. Hey, thank you for your donation, Boston. Your very kind words. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Matt again, who says, Monroe Doctrine, baby. All righty. Thank you for your donation. Yeah, but a lot of these late night shows used to be funny. It used to be about comedy. It used to be, you know, something entertaining that you'd be able to watch late at night. You ready to go to bed or whatever. You can watch these shows, but now it's not funny. And it's been that way for a while. You know, I'm a sports guy. I enjoy watching basketball. Big basketball fan. Go Bucks. Anyway, I like watching basketball. And when I see like you got the NBA Finals, right? And it comes on ABC. They always got to have Kimmel on a pre-show. I'm like, man, come on. I don't want to see this. So then I got to just skip past the pre-show and get straight to the game. Whereas normally I might watch the pre-show. I'm good. I got my snacks. I got my little something to drink, some good flavored water or something like that. No alcohol. I'm sitting there and I'm ready. to watch the whole thing. He comes on, I just go do something else. Anything else other than watching him. They're turning off a lot of people to try and cater to other people. That's going to be their whole crowd from here on out, because that's what they're trying to. That's what they're building, the audience that is buying into that whole situation. Have I been on JOP? I've not been on JOP before. AWPER1, Opera One. I think he's pretty funny. He's a cool guy. I've met him before actually, but I've not been on the show. He's a pretty funny guy though, but I've not been on the show. I would go on the show, but I've not been yet. Mad TV, yeah, that's old school. Mad TV. Lily Singh. Nah, Lily Singh. I don't know about that. But you know what? I've not seen her in a while. Maybe she's improved, but last time I saw her, I wasn't a fan. Letterman is a stooge now. Yeah, Letterman, I saw him on a Netflix show with Obama with this big Santa Claus beard on. But I did not think to look at his actual content at all. Yeah, R.I.P. David Stern. Yes, I saw that David Stern, the prior NBA commissioner before the current one, Adam Silver, he passed away, 77 years old. I think he had some kind of brain injury, and as a result of that, he passed away. I think it might have been today where he passed. So RIP to David Stern. You know, he was the commissioner when the NBA did a quantum leap. I think he was around with Jordan and everybody else, if I'm not mistaken. He might have been around in the 80s. He was around for a long time before he gave it over to Adam Silver. Jim Carrey was funny as well. Jim Carrey was funny back in the day when he was on A Living Color. And then he did, you know, of course, like Ace Ventura. Oh, some classic scenes from Ace Ventura. What else? The Mask, all kind of stuff. Even on the Truman Show, he was pretty good. But then, you know, Trump derangement syndrome, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And now he's drawing these deranged cartoons and just really weird things he's got going on as of late. Yeah, Netflix is terrible. And it's weird because Netflix, I get it every now and again. I got it last time because of the Chappelle special, which was pretty good. Was it the best ever? No, I've seen better from him, but it was pretty good. No, the whole Juicy Smouye, all that, I got it because of that. But now I need to cancel it yet again because it's garbage on there. I don't have time to watch it at all. I never watch TV except for the news and for sports occasionally. That's it. So I'm going to cancel it again. David Stern did pass away, David Ray. That was today, actually. Probably about an hour or two ago. It was very recently that a news got announced. Oh, yeah. Dumb and Dumber. That's right. With Jim Carrey. That was a fantastic movie. Hilarious. But, you know, that's in the past, you know, and he's not going to be able to get back to that particular point in time, in my humble opinion. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jim Carrey's wife OD'd on pills. They're talking about, you know, he could have prevented it. Yeah, at that point, I think he pretty much went off the deep end. That's right. It wasn't really TDS. It was the whole thing with his wife. I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Black Rosebud, also comic on YouTube. I check him out. Shout out to Black Rosebud. I don't know anything about him, so it's not an endorsement, but check him out to see what he got going on. All right, so what else we got? Again, Happy New Year to you all. January 1st, 2020. It's a few more months. Well, about 10 months. And we'll have President Trump get reelected. I'm waiting for the debates. Like, what do you want to see the most? Do you want to see the primary and how that goes down? The debates between Trump and, does Trump need to actually debate? I don't know. But do you want to see a debate between Trump and whoever the presidential candidate is for the Democratic side? It'll probably be Joe Biden. I want to see that. And I want to see the reaction. The reaction from liberal media and regular normies that are also liberal on the internet. Do you want to see that? That's what I want to see. Last time it was glorious. People screaming, crying. It was just, they spent so much time on Twitter being angry and hateful on to just fall down. Talking about, yeah, she's going to win. It didn't happen. That's what I want to see. Oh yeah, Fire Marshal Bill and Living Color. Yes, Jim Carrey was hilarious. He was hilarious back in the day, but things happen and people don't. They're not always the same. He's pretty much lost it at this particular point in time. Gone off the deep end. All right, so let's get to the calls. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. And let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get Skype started up so we can go ahead and see if that wants to work. Let's see. And let's see if everything's going to work right. Get the audio and video cracking. Oh, everything is great. Perfect. Let's get the ringer off, and then we'll be good. All right, Matt, what's happening?
Hey, not too bad. I like when you're talking about Trump derangement syndrome, and I think last week I told you I feel bad for people that are kind of sideways on them. One that can really make these people short circuit is, and I haven't heard anybody. I mean, even Trump didn't defend himself on this one. He never said he can grab women by the pussy. I don't want to swear, but he never said it.
Nah, he was like, when you're famous, they let you do things like that, which is the reality. I mean, you got women like you see like a rock star or a rapper or something like that, and they go through a crowd. Women are just tossing themselves at him. It's because they want you. They want you to do whatever. It's because they're giving you consent. They took that and were making it seem like, oh, he's just doing things without their consent. No, he's doing things that they want him to do because of who he is.
He almost didn't even say that. There's Adam Schiff was a guy, not Adam Schiff, Peter Schiff was a guy that explained the nuance of it, and I had to go back into it and look at it. I've heard nobody drill down on this except for Peter Schiff. So what Trump was doing was being sarcastic. So he said, so Billy Bush was explaining that Access Hollywood was taking Trump to be on Days of Our Lives, the soap opera. And what Trump was going to do is he was going to do a cameo appearance where one of the women on Days of Our Lives wants to work for him, and she would do absolutely anything to get a job, like anything, So she was trying to trade sexual favors in exchange for a job. Trump read the script, and he just thought it was horseshit. So here's where the recording started. So they cut out the whole beginning of it, but Trump was just like, no, that's not true. I can't get any woman I want. This never happens in real life. It's not real. Billy Bush was like laughing, but you're the Don. You can get any woman you want. You're the Don, blah, blah, blah. And Trump went and he explained that there was a woman that he was trying to get with, took her furniture shopping like a bitch. Like Trump is the bitch.
You can't curse though.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't know that one was taboo. But he that was the word Trump used. He goes, hey, I'm the one that put myself out there. She shot me down. And Billy Bush said, no, that's just not true. You can get with any woman. And so he basically just said, yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can kiss them. I can grab them. I can do anything. And then right towards the end of the recording, they went in. But I would beg anybody that really thinks that Trump says that to go back and watch the Days of Our Lives cameo, because it's on YouTube.
Okay. So basically, I see what you're saying, because the whole thing about the furniture shopping, people took that and they were saying that he was treating the woman like that, but he was like, nah, I'm the B, because
he was the B. He called himself the B.
I'm the B. I took her furniture shopping.
Yep.
I do all the different things. I didn't get anything in return, basically.
Yeah, and that nuance doesn't fit on a bumper sticker. And at any time someone thinks, like someone's tried to tell me that Trump was a bad businessman, and I own an aviation company and Trump's flying around in a $200 million aircraft. I know a lot of great businessmen that can't afford a $200 million airplane. And a lot of people that will say he's not smart. I think if Trump tried to explain the nuance of that whole situation and actually defend himself, he would have lost on it. So instead, he brought out Bill Clinton's accusers, which, again, I'm into politics and I'm pretty politically savvy. Trump makes me look like a moron. Trump makes me look like a horrible businessman. So at any time that anybody wants to sell him short, he just excels.
Right. I got you.
But that's all I got for you. Watch that video clip.
Oh, I definitely will. Now I got some more context on it, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, now. That was a great call. I didn't even think about it like that. I didn't know that about the cameo and Days of Our Lives and all that. I didn't even know that. So thank you for the call, Matt. Definitely appreciate you. Excuse me. Somebody said Beto now sells hot dogs at Trump rallies. That's hilarious. All right, let's get to the next call. 651, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Very good. So I heard the news, right, about the Pope, about the gun, about Joe Biden and his meme, but I want to talk to you about something else that's happening that the news doesn't report, but it's really terrible.
Okay.
Indoctrinating. Now, I spoke to you about this before. High school kid, right? I was in class, right? And we're being indoctrinated. I can feel it. I can just sense it. It's just terrible. And things have just taken a left turn, like a sharp left turn recently. My teacher, I'm not going to give you the name, but she hates America. She despises America. I can see it. She seems nice at first, but she despises America with every fiber of her being. She showed us a video on how America is the cause of all the slaughter in Central America and how we are at fault for making Central America and some parts of South America as terrible as it is.
Okay, I'm with you. I mean, so like she showed that like in class talking about, well, it's our fault that they are there.
And they didn't even put up a good argument. They said, "Oh, we're at fault. The U.S. military slaughtered innocent people, and we got rid of the people that the leftist politicians. We killed all these leftist, democratically elected leftist politicians." And I asked my father about this, and he said that these politicians were actually, these are dictators. Like, we were trying to get rid of these dictators. This was during the 70s and 80s when we were trying to stop the flow of communism.
Right. I mean, I don't know. At a certain,
and she said,
"Go ahead. Go ahead, boss. Keep going."
And it says it's all our fault. We killed all these leftist, democratically elected leaders. We are at fault for destroying Central America. We introduced so much more trouble. We are at fault here. It's all our fault. We are terrible. Kind of like how Obama went to Egypt and started to apologize. That was one of the first things he did. How America was terrible. How we waged war in the Middle East. It's all our fault.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no nuance there. There's not talking about what happened, what was going on there before, any kind of military intervention. Yeah. Like, there's no talking about that. They just want to talk about, it's our fault. Well, why did we go over there? Why did we do what we did? What was the reason for us?
Because we wanted to stop the flow of communism. Communism was a really big. This was during the Cold War, and we didn't want communism to start spreading right to our front doorstep. Mm-hmm. And these leftist leaders, they say democratically elected leftist leaders, these were dictators, for crying out loud. These were people that slaughtered their own people. Come on, this is like the General Aladdin. This is like these guys. And that's not the worst part. One of the worst parts was in the same video. They said how detention centers in the South. They said in a very serious way, and I'm not talking. They seem to believe this. They said, if I can remember, the detention centers in the South are being compared to the concentration camp. Now, I can take a joke. I can make a joke, take a joke, offensive humor, fine. But the scary thing is they're not joking. They believe this. You know what I mean? And they didn't say it like this is a joke. No, they people started to believe this. They're like, concentration camps are being compared to the detention centers in the South. And then she had this big lecture about how detention centers are slaughtering babies, doing all of this. And I wondered, wait a minute. But these people say that these places are better than their home country due to the fact that they have water, food, air conditioning. And they say, what about the deaths of the babies? I was like, maybe, just maybe, I don't think you understand, maybe a gang member or somebody snuck in there and did some murdering. I mean, God knows who comes through that border. God knows who gets into those detention centers and causes havoc.
That's right.
And I was just thinking, I was like, these people believe this. I don't believe this. How can she say this to all of us? And it's not just that. It's that she doesn't care that this is the lie. That she's trying to brainwash us. I can feel it. Trying to penetrate through my skull. How America's terrible. Now I want to ask you, ABL, you must know geography. Did we do that slaughtering? Is it all our fault for Central America? Is it all our fault for the Middle East?
No, not at all. I mean, especially the Middle East, they've been fighting for a millennia or more in that same spot. They've been fighting. It's been fighting going on since the beginning of man. I mean, Istanbul was Constantinople at one point. I mean, Syria and Lebanon and all that.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
And the Palestinians. Yeah. And it's not just that. I remember in 8th grade, there was this kid. I'm not going to say his name. We were doing a Holocaust report, right? And this kid went up and started talking about how Zionism was total BS. Now, at the time, I didn't know what Zionism is. I thought that Zionism was a terrible thing made by fake Jews or something like that. I don't know. I didn't know. When I asked my father, he was like, Zionism was the basic definition of the Israeli people wanting a free state, a state for themselves, a sanctuary for Jews. And I was like, oh. Then why didn't my teacher say anything? Because he just spewed all of this to the class. And I was dumb enough to believe that Zionism was terrible. For a few months, I was actually saying that Zionism is terrible. And I didn't know what it was. I just went along with it. And she didn't say anything. The teacher didn't say anything. She was like, okay, class, give a round for the kid's name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can I say? They don't like Israel. They think that Israel shouldn't get a state for themselves. I mean, and the teacher just said, okay, there's nothing wrong with this, even though this is a Holocaust report.
But at the end of the day, you got a lot of these SJW teachers that are out there just giving their opinion about particular things, not necessarily giving the facts. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to those. But thank you for the call, man. Great call. Definitely appreciate you, boss.
Thank you very much, ABL. And I really beg you to please, in more videos, talk about the brainwashing and the indoctrinating, because this is it's a terrible thing affecting all of us.
Definitely, man. Most certainly. Thank you for the call, man.
Sorry.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great caller, 100%. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. There it is right there, 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. It is all good. If you want to get in through Skype, there should be an email for that in the description box. You can go and click on that and take you right to where you got to go. So let's go ahead and get to my next call. All right, caller, you on the line. 857, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Ivan, man. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, man.
Hey, man, you're a caller. I get that kid a call. I know this is kind of like probably 2 or 3 minutes ahead. He's talking about his teacher that hates America. It's not that people hate America. Teachers hate America. It's it's not like they hate people in the United States. They might like, the teacher might dislike the way that the government functions and the way that the government operates in other countries. That's what this is saying. It's not that they hate this country or America. Obama apologized. This is all BS. I was reading one of your comments that the teacher was CNN. Too much. Look, maybe this is just a kid, 19, 20-year-old kid that know much better. And the United States responsible, big part responsible of things that happen in the war and actually in Central America to South America in the 1950s all the way to now. I think they're decreasing their influence over the years. There's been a huge decrease in their influence, but I was being a huge influence when it comes to elections, intervening in elections. When it comes to democratic government that being elected by the people, they don't overthrow it themselves. They use people to overthrow them. I could give you many cases. I bet you that kid doesn't know who Ernesto Pinochet is. Do you know who Ernesto Pinochet is?
Nah, who's that?
Okay, he was a dictator in Chile. I can't remember. Don't ask me details because I don't remember. This is a long time ago. And it was the president-elect, Ernesto Pinochet. It was a CIA. They all came to the school called the Escuela de las Americas. It's a school that it was in, I believe, in El Salvador, I believe, and all these military people that were going there from different countries. When the United States have a huge influence monetarily in these schools, and then they use these people to go and overthrow these governments. And Pinochet, it was one of them that went and overthrew the government that was there. He stayed in power like for 30, 40 years. So when the United States don't like the person, they say, when Pinochet don't follow the orders, then what they do, they put sanctions in that country so the people could rebel against Ernesto Pinochet. And then they could say because Pinochet, he was there, that's why there's more poverty, there's more crime, etc., etc. They've been doing it all along. You know who Noriega is?
Yeah.
What happened with Noriega? What do you know about it?
Well, he was in Nicaragua, right?
No, Noriega is from Panama.
Panama, that's right, Panama.
Okay, so Noriega, he was an elected president called Arnulfo Arias. This is in 1950s, I believe, 1940s. So what happened was that Noriega came to the Escuela de las Americas in 1960s. So he became a CIA operative to help to overthrow, to kind of kill Fidel Castro. So they used Noriega to do this. The operation failed. I guess they're trying to put like a poison in a cigar or something. So the operation failed. But Noriega became an operation for the CIA since he was 17 years old in high school. He went to one of the best high schools. I'm telling you this because I'm from Panama and I know this. So then he was another guy as a military called Torrijos. Torrijos, he was in the CIA also, but when Torrijos didn't want the influence of the United States, they want to sell the canal, not sell it, but he want the Chinese president. He didn't want the American president there in businesses. So what happened is, I remember I was Jimmy Carter. They filed the treaty. I don't know if you remember the Panama Canal Treaty. They both signed the treaty. Carter removed it from the CIA. It's like, oh, I don't want you. You're bad influence. You're flooding drugs all over the place. You're bad for business. You leave the military, and you left the people of Panama have a free election. We're going to monitor the free election. Then we do it. I mean, you leave. Let the Panamanian people elect. We elected a clean government.
All right. I mean, okay. I got to set in because we got like.
Okay, I understand, but
no. Okay, hold on. Wait. I just got to ask a question. Now, wasn't Noriega the guy that was like drug running?
Exactly, it was a drug running.
Huh?
But the United States supported him running his drugs. As long as
was that a yes or a no?
I'm trying to tell you. Yes, he was a drug runner.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, so as long as they support him, when Torrijos did not serve him, they asked Noriega to do something about it. Noriega went and killed him, blew up his plane. They put him on power for. Noriega was on power like for 10 years. They're removing. They did the same thing in Nicaragua with Somoza. Do you hear about the Oliver North case?
Okay, so basically you're saying that these people that, like in the case of Noriega, this is a Panamanian, became the president, was a drug runner, but it's not his fault because the U.S. was helping him?
He never was a president. He was in the military. He was a dictator. What happened is, like I said, the United States used these guys as assets. As long as it worked for them, they're good. When they turn against them, they overthrow them. They send the military. They kill innocent people. And I'm not saying that people are is the force the military. I'm not saying that because you're in the military and they tell you, hey, you got to go to XYZ to do some operation.
All right,
you
because you're kind of talking a lot here, but we got to get to the what's your point? What's your bottom line to all this?
My point is that this kid is confused. He just need to learn more about how.
Why is he confused?
Well, because it's true what the teacher told him. It's true that the government, United States government, go out and use bad people to do bad things in those countries.
So it's nobody else's fault. It's nobody else's fault.
I'm not saying that's nobody else's fault.
So wait a minute. The Middle East has been fighting for a millennia, for centuries. So is it our fault that the Middle East has been fighting for that long? Man, they've been fighting for longer than the U.S. has even existed. So how was it our fault? Wait, sir, I'm not done. Mm-hmm. How is it our fault for the Middle East when they've been fighting since the beginning of man? Like before the U.S. is even a thought in the mind of the Europeans that came over here and started it, they've been fighting over here in the Middle East. This has been an ongoing thing. It's never ended. So how is it our fault at all?
Let me explain to you. Maybe you understand something. Okay, so do you believe that Iraq was better? It was secure and better off today than it was before Saddam, before the invasion of Iraq?
I don't know. I don't know how it was before.
Okay, it was safer back then. It was very safe. It was no killing.
Safe for who? What, was he a dictator?
Safer for the people living in Iraq.
Wasn't he a dictator though? So who was it safe for?
Saddam was a dictator, but keep things under control. Now there's more.
Okay,
there's more attacks. There's more.
So is it good? Is it good to be a dictator?
And Saddam, Saddam did it work for who?
Is it wait? Is it good to be a dictator?
No, who did it work for Saddam for? Who did it work for Saddam for?
You tell me.
For the CIA.
Okay, and what's your point?
United States supported Saddam Hussein for many years until they decided, hey, you are
what is your point,
suitable for
sir? What is your point? Like I said, there's been fighting.
My point is that what the teacher is saying is correct.
No. Wait. The question I had for you, sir. The question I had for you was talking about the Middle East. They've been fighting for a millennia. They've been fighting long before the U.S. even existed. So how is fighting over there our fault? You acting like the Middle East is just fine before we came over there.
I'm going to respond to you. You let me respond. Maybe you learn something today. I'm not saying that the Middle East is another joint. Or let me explain to you what I know. It is less safer now than it was before. United States supported Saddam Hussein. United States supported what is the other guy that they killed in Libya? What's that?
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi. He was in the CIA. So they support all these bad people who do bad things. So when what happens is when these people get removed from power, this country become less stable than it was.
So okay, let me just get it. Okay, man, this question. Since they supported, you said they supported Gaddafi.
They supported Gaddafi in 1980.
Okay, so they supported Gaddafi and things were better under him, according to you. So is it good for us to support dictators?
I'm not saying.
So wait, no. The question, sir. The question was, sir. I'm gonna put you on mute. The question I had was, you said that the U.S. supported Gaddafi, and then you said at the same time that Libya was better under Gaddafi. So is it good that we support dictators? All I'm asking. If you can answer that question, then we good.
No, let me explain.
Is it, sir, like we don't have time for the explanation because you've been talking a lot tonight. We don't have that kind of time. So it's really yes or no question.
No, because these people elected a clean government.
So it was not better. So it's not good to support dictators. So if it was better, so if it were better,
it's not good.
So if it were better under Gaddafi, then it wasn't good because we supported a dictator to make it happen.
See?
What?
We're supposed to be spreading democracy, right? So why when they have an elected government, why we support the dictator that overthrow the elected government, the president that was elected?
You're saying different things.
Explain that to me.
First you're saying that it was better under the dictator. Then you're saying that it was not good that we supported a dictator. So if we don't support a dictator, that's bad. If we do, that's also bad, right? According to you?
No. I'm not telling you. Listen what I'm saying. I'm going to say one more time. I'm going to hang up. This elected government, the people in this nation, they elect a president, right? Like in America, right?
Wrap it up because we got
more time. Me?
Wrap it up.
So you follow and then you bring somebody, you support somebody because those governments, they want to deal with you. They want to deal with China, for example. We want to
wrap, sir. You got 5 seconds.
Then the United States come pick somebody to overthrow that government. So
All right.
you
Thank
know
you for
what
the
I'm
call.
telling me that you support that. All right, get educated, man.
Thank you for the call. All right. That was Ivan, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to try to get to the next call. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I almost forgot my own call number, but let's get to the next one here. Let's go 202. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate it. 202. Can you hear me, sir? Or ma'am?
Yeah, man. How you going?
Everything's good, man. I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Turn your speakers down for me.
Oh yeah, I'm so okay. Can you hear me good now?
I still hear
Can you
I
hear me good now?
still hear speakers in the background. I need you to turn that down so I can, because it'll be feedback.
Okay. Okay, am I good now?
You good money?
Am I good now?
Yep.
Oh yeah, man. Look, man. I just want to start off say, man, I appreciate your commentary. I mean, I may not agree with a lot of it, but I do, respect your views, and I actually agree with a lot of your commentary. And I'm gonna just keep it brief, and I want to bring it more on a domestic tip here. Hey, man, this is what I see, man. It in a political, a spectrum. The bottom line is that regardless what party is in power, if you choose to vote or not vote, if you're within the working class, you support the system because you're getting taxed. So regardless if you vote or you don't vote, you're still getting controlled more than what your political power is, because they're taking a percentage of your money into the government to supposedly, allegedly, use this money so it could, benefit a general, society and population. So that's what most people just need to focus on. And I'm going to leave you with this. Now, a person could say, F Trump, someone could get up here and say, hey, this is white supremacy, I hate those NIGGERs, and it's all good. Or a person could just say, oh, I hate America, let's burn the flag. It's all good. But people are not seeing that a guy just actually got 15 years for burning LGBT flag, and it shows that obviously that the laws that's intact is not a full spectrum of freedom of speech. Because like I said, you could say F Trump, I hate America, burn the flag. He could say, oh, I hate those NIGGERs. It's all good. You may not agree with it, but you still have a right to express that. But you cannot express openly your dislike for homosexuality or the LGBT. So I just want to leave it with that, man. You have a good one, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call me. Get to the next call. Oh, I had somebody right there, but I was a little bit too slow to the trigger. All right, you guys keep on coming in. Let's go. 423, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Zach, how are you doing, Anthony?
Everything's great. How about yourself?
Wonderful. We're having a great time in Southwest Virginia. Oh, and by the way, Pinochet did nothing wrong. That was kind of annoying, especially the man that saved Chile.
Right.
Well, it's going to be, Happy New Year for one thing. It's going to be a very epic and exciting year for all of us Americans here, especially if my historical model that I've had for years tells me rightly that Donald Trump's going to be reelected.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. I mean, I don't see how the only way Trump wouldn't be reelected is if there was some widespread voter fraud from the left. Widespread. I'm talking like at a massive scale, to the point where you would need to have the whole world stand up and take notice, because there's no enthusiasm for the left. There's no clear front runner. Even at this point, this is January. The election is this year. Like, we got to get the ball rolling. They don't have anybody. The person that could be the front runner, Joe Biden, is pretty much, a walking zombie.
He's Hillary Clinton, only older.
Yeah, correct. 100%.
I mean, the thing, several reasons why I believe that Donald Trump is likely going to be reelected. according to the model that because I've loved presidential history forever. And the following reasons are, for one, I'm certain he's going to win Ohio and he's going to win Florida. And in my experience and my study, no president or presidential candidate has ever won both Ohio and Florida and lost the presidential election. It's never happened. The second reason is, of course, the economy. Only three presidents in our modern times, only three presidents in our modern political history has ever lost re-election. Those are Carter, Bush Sr., and Herbert Hoover. And all three of which faced economic recession or depression that absolutely crippled their ability to govern. And three, the only way besides massive voter fraud that could possibly beat Donald Trump is, in my opinion, an economic recession. And no recession or depression has ever taken place during an election year, especially a presidential election year. Never happened.
Right.
And so, especially the thing that I'm going to be looking forward to is I'm going to be paying close attention to East Ohio, because if Eastern Ohio's turnout is as similar or greater than the turnout of 2016, then that tells me Western Pennsylvania has similar turnout and Trump would win Pennsylvania.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's basically all I wanted to talk about, basically.
Well, I thank you for the call, man.
Thank you very much. Take care, Anthony.
All right, same to you.
Same to you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, I don't see, there's really no way that Trump's going to lose. Even the left, they're coming out and saying Trump's not going to lose. People like Michael Moore, he came out and said that Trump's going to, even the left are pretty much at this point conceding their loss. They know they can't really get over the hump. And it's their own fault. This is the bet that they've made. Now they got to lie in it. So I don't feel any kind of sympathy for them at all. Let me get to the next call, though. 901, you're on the line. What's speaking to?
Hey, ABL. I just wanted to say that nothing in our criminal justice system has changed since Trump became president. Otherwise, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton would be buried beneath the prison, and Epstein would have been investigated moreover than what it has been, and Ilhan Omar would be in prison as well. The reason I say this, and I know that they're not doing their job, is due to the fact that when I was in high school, when Bush was president, we had a kid that was dared to make a death threat towards George Bush through email. And when he did, it only took the FBI 6 seconds to be at our school and have that kid in handcuffs. They knew exactly what computer it came from, what time it came from, and all the information from that computer.
Mm-hmm.
So when are we going to change the two-tier justice system for our country?
I mean, that's a good question. I really don't know what can be done, though. I'm not really sure, but it is a good question.
This is the us versus them, because they still have their elite status to where nothing ever happens to them. Hillary Clinton would be in prison for the Benghazi and all the other crap that she has done. I don't know anybody else that has 96 people that have been close friends that commit suicide once they get dirt on that person.
Yeah, it's been quite a lot, especially, and then it's been going back all the way to Arkansas with, with Bill. So, it's a pretty deep thing.
The one guy shot himself in the back of the head twice, brother.
Right.
It was still ruled a suicide. I mean, when are we going to change this? I mean, I love Trump and all, but I don't see anything changing in that matter. And that's what I've been waiting for, is the two-tier justice system to go the opposite way that it has been going. And you have only one set of people out there, one organization out there, which is Judicial Watch, that is trying to hold these people accountable that get blocked in every which manner, and are still covering up for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really
James
sure.
Comey should be in prison.
Yeah,
it was all rigged against Trump.
But I'm not really sure what can actually be done.
What do you mean?
I just what I said. I don't know. I don't know what exactly can be done. Like specifically, like if we're going to change the system, like how do we actually go about doing it in a real way?
Mass firing. A mass firing. That's how you do that. The FBI needs to be dissolved, and all these other organizations, and then the judicial system needs to be gone through. I mean, the only thing that Trump has done for the judicial system is he's appointing more judges than any other president.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the only way he's changing one step. But what I'm saying is I don't want to focus on that. He promised that we'd be putting Hillary Clinton in prison. You know? If you remember right, when they had the debate, she said, "Aren't you glad that that Trump isn't isn't the leader over the DOJ?" And he said that the reason is because you'd be in jail. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
So why isn't she in jail? He is over the judicial system, the DOJ, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really know what can be done. Like, it's one thing to say, okay, this is what I want to do. It's a different thing to actually have that happen.
Well, actually, I don't know about that because Donald Trump is the one that's actually kept the majority of his promises, though. And that's only because he wasn't bought during the election like Hillary Clinton was. And if you remember right, he told her, why don't you put $25 million of your own money in so that way you can, at least some of your tongue's not bought and you don't have to do what they say and you're not their puppet.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a whole lot, but, I don't think that I don't think you can expect any politician to follow all of what they say on the campaign trail. Now, we want it, of course, and we want to hold them accountable, but to expect everything to come true, I think is just kind of being unrealistic, especially since he can't just rule by fiat. He's not the king. You got to go a lot of different ways. It's like the whole thing with the wall. People are saying that, okay, he promised the wall is not happening quick enough, but he can't just take money from wherever he wants and build it. You have checks and balances you got to go through. That's why he had to divert some money from the military and stuff like that, because it was available to him, because he could use that for defense purposes, and he could say, oh, the wall is a defense purpose, and that went all the way to the Supreme Court. So it's not as easy as it.
Why is Tom Fitton doing all the legwork and all the heavy lifting that all these senators and governors and everything else could be doing? Why is Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch doing all the heavy lifting and the ones subpoenaing everything, and the ones getting the what do you call that? To investigate the illegal activities such as Ilhan Omar.
But okay, I mean,
like
my question, my question would be, what if they actually gotten accomplished? Tom Fitton.
They're the ones that have uncovered all of Hillary Clinton's emails and everything else.
But
DOJ was actually holding back.
I mean, we all know that she's corrupt. Like, that's not even, but what if they actually gotten accomplished as far as getting anybody locked up or having any kind of action further than just saying that we know that they're corrupt? What if they actually gotten accomplished that we want to actually get done?
Well, that's not up to them to press criminal charges, though. That would be up to the court, and that's what the court's working on right now. That's what they're working on right now, is to hold these people accountable and work on criminal charges against some of the people.
Well, I think that they're doing a good thing by not relying on the government totally, because I don't think that's probably not the best way to go about this anyway. You can't just totally rely upon the government. Private citizens doing their job is good as well, in my humble opinion. So I'm not really sure what the government could do to get these things accomplished that we want to have accomplished. I just don't know what they could do. Like, I understand the frustration, but like, there has to be an actual, okay, you guys can do this, this, and this to make this happen. If that's not available, then I just don't know what they can do.
So you basically are saying it's probably not going to change, no matter how bad we have that taste in our mouth for it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know what can be done. It's one thing to say, okay, I want it to change, all this, that, and the third. I get it. I'm with it. But I don't know how. Like, we could say, okay, the government's not doing this, that, and the third. But we also have to say what they can do, with like what they are actually able to do. That's different than what we think they should do. And I don't know what they're able to do. Maybe there are things that they're able to do that I don't know, but I just don't have the information. That's all I'm saying.
Correct. I understand that. It's just frustrating for the American people to see so many people that are in high offices get away with illegal activity. You know what I'm saying?
I understand 100%.
That's like the most frustrating part about it, because I mean, we see it every day, and then you have the news covering up for them and everything else. And I mean, Fox News, I mean, all they become is a reporter on CNN, MSNBC, and everything else. You know what I mean? And so it's just, and then once it gets out of the news, nobody cares about it anymore. Just like the Jeffrey Epstein, you know, there's so many memes going around about Jeffrey Epstein because they're trying to keep the story going, or trying to keep it in the light, because people just want to forget about it and just move on from that.
Right.
That criminalizes so many people.
I understand, man, but I got a few more calls on the lines. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. Shout out to the caller. I most certainly appreciate him. 305 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL?
Yes.
Awesome. This is Riquet. How you doing, man?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Excellent. Oh, man, I'm glad I caught you. This is what I want to say, man. I am a Cuban American. I heard Ivan talking, and I almost, punched a hole through a wall. Talking about Noriega, he forgot to mention, and you can look at this in the Netflix documentary of Cuba. Noriega was running drugs with the Colombian guy. Was the guy's name that everybody knows?
Was it Blandon?
Super famous.
Ochoa, Blandon.
Well, whatever, and with the help of Cuba.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that I want to say to Americans, that I think there's a lapse in policy, because America has a lot of common with Israel, and that is, it is surrounded by enemies. But instead of being Iran orchestrating everything, is Cuba destabilizing all of Latin America. When Fidel died, Trudeau almost cried for the man and said that he was a great leader. Number one, Canadians do not love America or what it stands for. They love American stuff, just like a shoplifter likes to, love stores, but they don't care about it. Mexicans do not love America and what it stands for. They just like that it's nice here. You go down the list of all the countries, maybe now Brazil is kind of waking up a little bit with Bolsonaro, and they kicked out all the Cuban doctors that the previous administration had hired, because the previous administration in Brazil was paying the Cuban government the wages of those Cuban doctors, and then the Cuban government kept 75% of those wages, gave a kickback to the previous administration, which is now being processed in Brazil for corruption, and kept the rest and only paid the doctors 25% of their wages. After they came back from the mission to Cuba, and they wouldn't let them see their families, they wouldn't let them, do anything. And on top of that, they were supposed to also proselytize or propagandize with their patients. Same thing in Venezuela with the Cuban doctor program. Those Cuban doctors in Venezuela were actually telling the patients, vote for Chavez, vote for Maduro. That's their job, And these Cuban doctors are everywhere. I mean, in the Middle East, in Africa. Did you guys know that Cuba participated in the Angolan War?
I did not know
Angola is pretty, right? Yeah. And they're pretty socialist. If you look at their flag, it's red and black, just like the Cuban Revolutionary flag. And it has instead of a sickle, it's a machete, and the same type of Soviet situation going on. Cuba is the most imperialist country, and it's 90 miles from Florida. Look at Mexico now with AMLO, Angel Manuel Lopez Obrador, I think it is. He now started the Cuban doctor program in Mexico. Okay?
Wow.
So you know what that means. On top of that, Evo Morales from Bolivia was ousted because of election fraud, caught red-handed, video evidence of ballots that he hid away after he stopped the ballot count recently. And then when he started up again, he was ahead when he was predicted to to lose, you know, and he's obviously like an indigenous person of Bolivia, and his SJW coming his way was, you know, I'm helping all the indigenous people in Bolivia, blah, 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 socialism in Bolivia, right? He was about to lose, he stopped the count. And then supposedly he won, the people went out into the streets. You see the news, nobody mentions why. They just say, oh my God, in Latin America, there's all this like hubbub, you know, turmoil, et cetera, and he has to flee. And he fled to Mexico. And then his people, right, that helped him in his corruption are actually hiding in the Mexican embassy in Bolivia right now, which the Spanish government, which is also socialist, sent some spies to visit the Mexican embassy in Bolivia just recently. So we're talking in Spanish, in Spanish world. There's like a whole like I don't even know what to call it. It's just a different world of socialism, and it surrounds America, right? The Americas. Why is America not taking care of its backyard, man? All this immigration would not exist. All this illegal immigration would not exist if these countries were fixed, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, every time they try to do better, look at Chile. Chile was doing better, man. Since Pinochet, right? He was tough. Not gonna lie, but frankly, you have to eliminate communism. Okay, you have to eliminate communism. That's just the way it is. If you don't kill them, they kill you. But Chile, fastest growing economy in Latin America, you know, and then now, because of the previous socialist administration that they had, it left things worse off for this new one that's a little more conservative. So people went out into the streets, right? That's what happens. The socialism messes up everything, but you know, it takes a little time for things to become worse. And then when you step in to try to fix things, you got a hot potato on your hands.
Right.
But, right? So this is what I'm telling you, man. Like, America, imagine, why would America go to the Middle East because of oil or whatever? Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves. If we had taken care of Cuba, Venezuela would not have happened. We will be friends with Cuba and Venezuela, right? And the Middle Eastern people, I'm sorry, they could keep they can have all the oil they want, because in America we make our own oil, but on top of that, we would have our friends, the Venezuelans, prosperous capitalists, right there, man. But instead, what do we have? We have an island country running drugs, because Cuba is still running drugs. I talk to my people, and they find bricks like all the time. So Cuba is like strategically like located by the grace of God to be a port. It was for the Spanish gold back in the colonization days. That's where all the ships stopped from, you know, Peru, Venezuela, et cetera, before they went to Spain. And that's where all the boats stop, okay, before the drugs run, not just to America, but to Europe as well.
Right.
That's right. That's where cocaine starts before it goes to Europe. So you've had this thing for 60 years, festering, metastasizing, etc. And now Argentina just elected back. The vice president of Argentina right now used to be the president, who got caught with like millions of dollars in a container buried in her backyard or something. But this lady, while she was president, she passed a law that said that you couldn't prosecute presidents or ex-presidents. Like, only in Latin America, my friend. And the Pope is also Argentinian.
Yeah,
I mean, what you've got going on in the UN, in the Catholic Church, in Latin America, in everything, all these NGOs, is unbelievable, man. And the thing is, it's like, yo, America, forget about Europe, forget about China, forget about the Middle East. They're over there. Let them crash and burn, bro. You got things to worry about right here. You got all the resources you could ever want right here on your side of the planet, man. Handle your stuff. Those are my 2 cents, my friend.
Hey, that was an excellent call, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for, accepting the call. And I say hello to everybody in the chat, man. You guys are great. Okay? Take care, my friend.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, there it goes right there, my man with the excellent call, fantastic. So shout out to all you guys in the building. Definitely appreciate y'all. You guys on the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call here, and let's go to 702. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is John from San Francisco.
All righty, man. What's happening?
Hey, nothing much. I have a couple issues I want to bring up. Number one, I was watching YouTube today in between serving customers at the coffee house, and I noticed that you had on a video commenting about the environment. It was a few hours ago, and you said something so shocking that you made several people who were watching my laptop with me drop their coffee. When you said you would rather have trees and the environment destroyed so you and your fellow humans can have food in your bellies. That, to me, was shocking beyond belief. A progressive city like San Francisco respects the environment, sir. And to say that is to disgrace America. So that was a minus on your video, I might say.
Boy, that's not really what I said. I was like, I could care less about a tree when I gotta eat, because look, if I'm starving to death and I gotta eat food, am I gonna be an environmentalist, a tree hugger, or am I gonna eat so I don't die? I mean, which one would you do, sir?
Well, the environment is the reason we're living. The oceans, the land, the farmland, the climate. It's the reason we survive. And if you take that away, you take away our survival.
But if you're starving to death by being an environmentalist, what are you doing? You're not living anyway. So what are you going to do?
50% of America by 2030 is projected to be obese. Hardly anybody is starving to death. The only ones who will starve to death are the Republicans and Trump, who make maximum profit off of the totalitarian.
Well,
secondly,
wait a minute.
Yes.
Not everybody lives in America. I'm talking about the world in general. You have people that live in third world countries. I mean, trying to be an environmentalist in a place where you got starvation going on doesn't make any sense. So I think I was right on that, but go ahead.
Okay, second point, the Pope. Slapping that poor woman in the hand, assaulting her. There should be an immediate investigation by Interpol on the Pope to do something like that. I mean, look how people here in America want to destroy the homeless in San Francisco, all because they just want to live their life. And instead, what do? We allow a man in a cloth to physically assault a woman on camera, and not one person cares or does anything about it. Shame on you. Shame on you. Finally, yes.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Thirdly, I want to bring up the Trump re-election. To be honest with you, the Democratic field is really, really weak this year. But Trump gets reelected because people are bought off by corporations and by the wealthy. You give them a car, you give them a house, you give them a little bit of land, and they go, do whatever you want to me. Jeffrey Epstein, who cares? The environment, who cares?
Who gets the car? Who gets the car?
Sorry?
Who gets the car?
Who gets the car? I'll tell you who gets the car. The people who get bought off, like your audience gets bought off, that they're sitting in their house right now saying to themselves, thank God I'm not like the righteous homeless in San Francisco. I have a job. Can I tell you something? 90% of jobs in America are slave labor. What happens is you're 60, 70 years old, you get cancer, you get heart disease, and they pat you on the back and they go, good job, you worked 50 years for the system. Boy, isn't that wonderful. In San Francisco, we're trying to have a different life, a quiet, progressive life, where women mean something, where the value of human life still means something. And the rest of America, you're getting older, you baby boomers. You're getting older. And who's taking over the young progressive.
Yeah, that was a lot there. What kind of car do people get when they get bought and paid off? Is it a Camaro or is it a Chevy Blazer? Like, what kind of car did they get? Do you know?
Well, look at it this way. I'll give you an example. That's a good question, and I'll answer it this way. We don't mind sending minority and poor men and women to fight our oil wars in the Middle East. And what do we do to thank them? We drive SUVs and F-150s. Thank you, young man. Thank you for going to war and fighting for our oil. Now give me more so I could drive my F-150 to the gun range and shoot defenseless animals. What a country.
Wow.
What a country.
Wow.
Right now, if I didn't have to work the night shift at the coffee house, I would go home and I would crawl under my bed in shame. Good night, sir, and think about what I said. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for the call. Wow. So you got animals at the gun range? Like, what kind of gun range is that? You can just go shoot animals, like, and they got targets. It'd be a goat hanging from a hook. You just shoot that. Like, I never seen a gun range like that. That's wild. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Shout out to the caller. Of course, that's got to be a troll. Or not a troll, just somebody just parodying a liberal person. That's kind of how they think, you know, liberal people. That's kind of how they are. They think that way. Let me go to the gun range and just shoot living creatures and stuff like that. That's wild. And the Trump car. Hey, I don't know where you get the Trump car from, but I want one. I want a free Trump car, and I want a free a Trump house. You know, the Obama phone. That's like so passe. Let me get the Trump car and the Trump phone and the Trump house. How about that? Let me get the total package for free. Give me the Trump house, yeah, and I'll vote Trump all the way. Let's go ahead and get it. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next call. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, please hit the like button and share it as well. And if you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're doing, but go ahead and subscribe as well. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 580, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Kelly from Oklahoma, and I'm telling you, there is a God. He does exist, because I said, please let me be the next caller. Please let me follow that guy. Oh, my gosh. I had so many other things to say, but he lit my fire. He is why Trump won in 2016, so he can just go take his break at the coffee shop or whatever he's doing tonight, go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and see why Trump won. He's exactly the reason. I am a baby boomer. I am a Trump supporter. I didn't get a car. Did you get a car, ABL?
I did not get a car.
Well, what is going on? Nobody I know got a car. It's beyond me. I just want him to come out from under the bed. Come out from under the bed. Look in the mirror at the coffee shop and see why Trump won. And he is referencing the video that I physically laughed so hard. I belly laughed. It's my favorite line of 2019. I will never forget it. When you said, and it's probably the junior high person in me that's still laughing about you saying doo-doo on the ground. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was so funny. It was so true. Anyway, that's my favorite. You're going to have to go really, you're going to have to really reach to beat that. I got one more thing to say about the previous caller, and I understand the sentiment of why isn't something happening? He said, you'd be in jail, and she's not in jail. The truth is, the corruption is so deep that you don't just go in and pull it out by the root. I mean, there was no way to do that. There were too many Obama holdovers. He would have had to shut the government down to get rid of everybody and bring in trusted people. But I believe with all of my heart, that's why this election is so important. Because I think when he wins in 2020, those deep things, are going to get to be done.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh my gosh, Doo-doo on the ground. You got to write it. If you need to make a shirt, I will buy it. I will be your first customer to get that on a shirt somehow. Get that in your merchandise.
I'll do that just for you.
You figure out how to say that.
Right.
I will buy the shirt. And love you, man.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
Shout out to the caller. All right, let me get to my next call here. 214, you're online. What's speaking to?
Hey, ABL, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
This is Tariq. Hey, I just want to respond to some of your callers, man, and then talk about what's going on overseas with the whole embassy thing. And that's it. But the first caller, I mean, you had one caller called you who was upset that Trump didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton, lock her up, or do something, about Ilhan Omar. And my thing's like, who cares, man? Like, why do some of these Trump voters focus on things that have nothing to do with policy? And to me, it's just emotional. Like, do you want Hillary Clinton locked up for emotional gratification? So what if she's locked up? That does absolutely nothing for the economy. That does absolutely nothing for building a wall. So why would you be hung up on that and then call you and question, well, what do you want Michael Clinton? Who cares? That's like a personal vendetta, man. And it's just things like that. Like, you got those type of voters who they don't focus on substantial issues. You know what I'm saying? They just focus on things that make them feel good. And to me, that's kind of liberally, because that's how the Democrats went up to their base, is that they're just talking about impeaching Trump, but they're not giving their voters anything else. And what they're saying is impeach Trump because he's a racist, sexist, homophobe. And if you want to live in a better country, we got to get rid of Trump. So yeah, like those conservatives who behave like that, like they need to shut up and get out the way. So that's just number one, man. The other thing is, I believe you had one caller talking about Zionism. And my thing is, I don't really have an opinion on that, but I think in America there should be an open debate about, U.S. stance towards Israel. The reason why there's people coming out and talking about it is because we don't really debate that topic. You know what I'm saying? It's either you are pro-Israel or I'm saying you're anti-Semitic. I don't think we should be calling people anti-Semites just because they don't agree with Israel's policies. I think that's dangerous. And the more you have pushback on a topic, the more it strikes curiosity into someone to dig into that topic. And then if they're not able to ask questions, then they're going to develop a hostile view of something. So I do think the question of Israel needs to be debated. You know what I'm saying? So, the guy talking about someone said something about Zionism in school or something like that. That's because we're not able to really debate that. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the problem with that. And two more things and I'm done. If you look at the difference between the killing in New York, so there was a black man who walked in and hacked up some Jews. And then there was a Christian church that got shot up. I just feel like there's a sort of disdain towards Christianity because it seems like the media is not calling out the hatred towards Christians. And I'm not even a Christian, man. But I'm noticing that, like, there's so much focus on what's going on with Jews, and that is a problem, you know what I'm saying? If Jews are being hacked up in New York, that is a problem, you know what I'm saying? But that's a liberal state. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the governor blaming Trump. Okay, wait a minute. You're telling me a black liberal, more than likely who hates Donald Trump, was influenced by Trump to kill Jews? That makes no sense.
Right.
Like, how can you politicize that? 9 times out of 10, that black man is going to hate Trump. 9 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? So for them to say that he's influenced by Trump and it starts at the White House, that's BS, man. It's just like, you only talk that way if you know your base is stupid. You know what I'm saying? If you got a stupid base, then you don't even do no intellectual thinking. You say you go to the lowest common denominator. It is because Trump, and somehow Trump controls the media and is influencing people to do bad things. When it's the media that's pumping 24/7 BS, separating the country, calling conservatives all types of names, disrespecting Trump voters, which is causing anger. It's not Trump. You have to go to his Twitter to see what Trump is talking about. It's the media. And and with the whole Christian thing, it's almost as if there's just no acknowledgement. They're not even talking about it anymore. You know what I'm saying? There is a persecution of Christians. There is just no talk of it. And honestly, I believe it's the whole liberal thing. It's a bunch of white people, defending themselves. Do we really want to make them look good? Nah. So that's exactly what it's looking like, man. And just the last thing, man, with this foreign policy thing in the Middle East, and I think this is where I kind of differ with Trump on this. Trump bombed the Iranian PMF army, and what we have to understand is that army was trained, and they were killing ISIS, al-Nusra, and al-Qaeda, and this was actually reported on Fox News. And I just think I don't 100% blame Trump. I blame the neocons in his cabinet. I feel like we still, there are some deep state individuals in this cabinet, as you can see. This is why there's a whistleblower coming out against them and everything. But when he bombed those people who are attacking terrorist groups, they also liberated Christians and protected. It kind of pissed the Iraqis off, and I think, this is the reason why they stormed the embassy. And it just goes to this whole thing. We don't need to be in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? If these people were fighting for years, our role in the Middle East is not making things better. Let them fight it out. If Iran, Syria, and Iraq, if they want to ally up to destroy terrorists, if they don't want the United States there, we don't need to be there. I don't understand our role in that. I don't even think your average American, if you go up to your average American and say, hey, what are we doing in Syria and Iraq, they won't even know. And it's just like, if the people don't want us there, get out and just focus on home. I think the problem is if Trump does that, I don't know, like I said, I don't think the Republicans in the Senate, and the reason why I say the Senate will have his back, because I do think they will dangle that impeachment over him. I think this impeachment can be used as blackmail against Donald Trump. If he has a pro-America, I'm not getting involved in these wars, you'll see these war hawks come out and vote for impeachment. So it's a sticky situation, but you know what I'm saying? It just goes to saying we don't need to be in the Middle East to begin with. And that's pretty much all I want to say, man.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I'll take care, boss.
All right, now. All right, great call from my man, Tariq. Absolutely great. I got a clip come across my desk just now. It came across the airwaves, came across my desk. I got to show you this clip. This is of your favorite presidential candidate, Joe Biden. And you see the quote. It says, our culture is not imported from some African nation or some Asian nation. It's our English jurisprudential culture. A white nationalist? What's going on? That's going to get him in trouble. Now, is he right? Yes. But is he right for the Democrats? No. Let's see what he says.
The culture, our culture is not imported from some African nation or some Asian nation. It's our English jurisprudential culture, our European culture.
Do you see the faces in the crowd? I mean, like I said, he's right. Like the English language and the laws and all of that, well, he's kind of right and wrong, because you get different cultures that come here and shape the culture. Like the way we living right now, this is not, English stuff. We got a kind of a mixture of other cultures that acted on the English culture that was here to make it be what it is today. This is American culture that was English, created, started with influences from other nations. That's what happened. So I don't know, man. That's going to give us some trouble. Like you see the faces in the crowd. They're not really feeling it too tough at all. So I want to see what the reaction would be from the mainstream media. Imagine if that were Donald Trump saying something like that. Oh, white nationalists, you're racist. Hey, but I want to see what the reaction is going to be from that. If there's no real reaction from the mainstream media, then you already know what time it is. They're not even really being serious. Because if that were anybody on the right, then there would be a reaction. But since it's Joe Biden, then no such reaction shall be had. It is what it is. Exactly, Jason. See, he's telling the truth, but there were other influences. That's correct. This nation, the United States, was started by the Europeans, by the British. But as time progresses, you have other influences that act upon the nation to make it be an American culture. American culture is unique, and a lot of people around the world follow what we do as Americans. Alrighty. But, hey, like I said, I want to see what they come up with as far as trying to defend it. 608, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Huh? Oh, this is Morris.
Alrighty, what's going on?
Oh my God! So this is like time delay. I think everything going on right now could be summed up in a few simple words. Está loca! Está loca! Está loca! Dale huevos!
That was he might have just been I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know if he was being serious or what, but I had to hang up. You can't be on the phone screaming like that. Okay, let's get to the next call. 803, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Scott.
All right, Scott, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh, likewise, man. What's going on?
I was just calling. It's probably out of the purview of what you're speaking with tonight, and I couldn't hear everything you spoke about. But long story short, hey, man, the NASA it's like a government agency. They get $54 million a day, like taxpayer money. And, like, there's no true evidence that they actually went to the moon. It actually is fake. I mean, like, honestly, man, like, seriously, like, is the Earth going 67,000 miles an hour? And if it is, how does the space station go 17,000 miles an hour around an Earth that's going 67,000 miles an hour? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, man. Like, the whole thing, the Space Force is like, I love Trump. I'm just going to say, listen, I love Donald Trump, and I think he came out of the blue, man. He's here to save this nation. But, like, the whole thing is the truth, man. We don't know where we live, and I know it's out of the purview of what we talk about, but I'm just saying, like, $54 million a day taxpayer money could go to build the wall, but they're, like, faking this whole thing, man. The whole thing is fake. It's fake. Hey, man, like, ask yourself, does the Earth move under your feet? Is water flat? If you're in a hot air balloon,
all right, okay. Let's pause for a minute. Are you a flat earther? Yes or no?
I'm a globe skeptic.
The question was, are you a flat earther? Yes or no?
Well, I don't know. There's no flat earther. I don't believe that the globe is a real thing. It's a flat Earth. It's more likely flat. Yeah. and I didn't believe it either, man. I didn't believe. Hey, listen, I'm a conservative. I'm just saying, listen, think about just momentum. The Earth is going so fast. Dude, it doesn't make sense. I mean, come on, ABL. You're a smart guy. I know you're a smart guy. You're very mainstream. And you know what? To talk to you is a privilege. I can't even believe it. But I'm just saying, man, I know you poo-poo the flat Earth thing, but, man, give it another thought, man. I mean, think about it. When volcano smoke goes in the air, how come it's not blowing at 67,000 miles an hour?
You got a thing called an atmosphere, gravity, all that kind of stuff, maybe.
Gravity is a balloon anti-gravity, or is it lighter than air?
It's not lighter than air. If it was lighter than air, then it would not float. It would just exit the atmosphere, or it'd exit it wouldn't. It's light enough to float in air, just like a person is light enough to float in water.
oh, well, why does a person float in water if gravity doesn't pull them down to the bottom?
Nah, because you're light enough to float in water as a person, as a human being. Unless you're like very obese, then you might sink.
Well, wait a minute. How come a boat can float if it weighs 1,000 tons? It doesn't gravity pull it down?
Nah, because of the way that a boat is designed, it can float. It can be on top of the water. The way it's designed. If it was just a solid piece of steel with no type of design for the water, it'll sink. It's the same reason why ice cubes float in a cup of water. You can see that right there. You can demonstrate ice cubes floating. Or if you have a lot of ice cubes and they're not designed to float on top, if it's just like a big piece of ice, it'll just sink. You can demonstrate that. If you fill a cup of water with ice, it would just be ice and then not much water. The water would be displaced from the cup. We're talking about science experiments, second grade here, sir. So
yeah.
Hopefully, sir, listen to what I'm saying. I like different points of view, but hopefully we're not going to go down the road of, experiments from middle school or elementary school.
Well, can I leave you with one thing before you cut me out?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Long story short, the global warming thing, which I believe is it's a lie the global warming thing is there to like make you think that the Earth's a globe. It's not really a globe. It's not really a globe. So if you have a glass of water and you put ice in it, right? And you fill it all the way with water and you put the ice at the top, like you fill it all the way with ice, right? The ice will melt, but the water level does not change. That's a scientific fact. So global warming.
Wait. If you put ice in a cup of water, what happens?
Yes. If you put ice in a cup of water, let's say the cup of water is all the way to the top of the glass.
Uh-huh.
And you add ice, and the ice makes the water go up to the top even more. But the point is that when the ice is added, the water level will be maintained. And even though the ice melts, the water level does not go up. And you can do this at your own house with a glass of water. It's like melting ice does not make water levels rise. Okay? Like melting ice, water...
You're conflating different things that don't go together. You're conflating the thing about a glacier being in water melting. That's what you're talking about right there. If a glacier is in water and it melts, the water level would not rise because the ice was already in the water.
Right.
But if you have a cup of water that's filled to the very top and you put ice on top, the water will spill out of the top because you've displaced the water.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Right.
That means the water will rise. Okay, so thank you for the call. I appreciate you. But the Earth is that, sir. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to me. This is I'm being serious. The Earth is round. Maps exist. Listen. Sir, listen. Maps exist.
Bro.
Listen to me. Just hear me out. Please hear me out. Please.
Oh God, please hear me out.
Maps exist. Maps are accurate. You can go from California, a globe. That's the best way, a globe.
Yeah, I want to ask you one question before you cut me out. How does the Voyager thing even exist? Like, they're like, how long will the Voyager satellite exist? We're talking about batteries in the year 2020 can barely last 15, hours. And these Voyager satellites are supposed to be like, last forever? Come on, man. I mean, like, at some point, don't you want to let go of the whole thing? I mean, ABL, you're all on it. You are the smartest man. You are a smart man. The NASA thing they are the deep state on steroids, man. They are the last shoe to
Do you hear yourself?
NASA is the deep state on steroids, man. It's the thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. I was just letting him get his, I ain't want to just cut him off and not let him talk. I want to get himself out there, man. But listen, man, the Earth is round, okay? It's not flat. Gravity exists. Space exists. I mean, come on. You have a map. If you fly from California to Japan, how are you going to get there? Like, come on, like you can look at the continents and see how they used to fit together. But you know what? Whatever. The Earth. One thing I will say, just to give an alternative view of what science may say, I don't think that Pangea ever existed. I think that the idea of all the continents being together on one island doesn't make any sense. I think that the Earth expanded. There's evidence for that. I can lay out my case. But the Earth expanded because you have a core in the center. All stars expand, and the core is kind of like, not quite a star, but it's hot like that. As the core expands, so does the Earth itself. That kind of explains the Great Flood. But that's a different story. I'm saying that the Earth expands. That's why, but it's a ball. It's really a rock floating in space. We're moving through space. That's how you're able to have gravity. When you are on, like, you've been on one of these rides they have in an amusement park, like at a carnival, like the little alien ship, and it spins real fast, you're going to be pressed up against the jank because you're spinning very fast. That's kind of how that goes. When you're inside trying to walk around, you're not going to be going very fast because of the effect of gravity pulling back on you due to the speed. But that's a different story. I don't want to go down a scientific road, but I'm just saying the Earth is round, man. Stop, cut it out, man. Get off drugs. I'm just playing. But for real, the Earth is round. Let me get to the next call. 240, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's your boy JB. What's up, brother?
All right, JB, what's happening?
Nothing down without, man. You get some strange calls. You got a guy named the Earth is flat. You got a psycho works at a coffee shop. Hashtag psycho. Coffee shop. Too much caffeine. Everybody in the chat room, we'll start a new hashtag. We'll start on Saturday. Hashtag psycho coffee maker. What's up, bro, man? Bro, get crazy out here, man. People actually saying the gunman that stopped the people from killing people in the church was wrong. And had guns in the church.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I'm trying to say, what you say?
I said it's totally crazy that somebody's saying that.
Yeah, because my thing is, like, if he wasn't there, guess what would happen? It'd been a bigger shoot-off. It'd been more people dead. And I'm looking at people like, you guys realize that guns, it's not guns, it's the people that use the guns. Do you think criminals are going to stop getting guns? No, they're not. You know what they're going to do? They're going to see opportunities to take more advantage of people by not letting us have guns.
Exactly. Like, when you don't have any guns, you could pretty much, you'll be at the will of the state. They could do whatever they want to you because you can't defend yourself.
Exactly. And do you think people don't want that to happen? That is how people are. People don't like to see you happy. And that's what taking gun people is going to do. It's going to hurt us in the long run. Don't you think so?
Yes.
And people understand, and you go in net jobs in San Francisco, these people are crazy in California. We don't need a wall. We need nothing. We need more people coming over here. Yes, and lunch about our welfare system and everything, and take some good people. Yeah. Oh, did you see the Ben Carson on Fox News talking about he was working in California? You saw that interview?
But no, what did he say? Now I didn't see the interview, but what did he say?
He was just saying basically he's willing to work with the people in L.A. County and San Francisco. He's willing to work with them, but he says he wants facts, not just propaganda or made up stats.
Hey, well, I'm with it. I mean, if you can help these people, tighten up, then that's good. That's what people that in government should be doing. They should be trying to help the situation because California, they need some help pretty bad.
Exactly, but see, the thing with some about them is they don't, like I said, they don't want help. They just want to complain and cry and cater to the base. Doesn't mean anything. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think that last caller, man, he was going on a tirade. I mean, was he having a period or what? I mean, this dude was having a real meltdown on the radio. I'm like, dude, really? And then you got Ivan calling and talking dumb nonsense. I'm like, what? The New Year brought the nut job. Am I lying? The first show you had at the New Year, you got a bunch of nut jobs on there. Crazy. But yeah, ABL. So how's the New Year, sir?
Everything's been good, man. I'm really enjoying it. I got some new equipment, man. So I'm just trying everything out.
That's what's up, man. ABL, man, you doing your thing, brother, man. How can anybody say, man, hey, keep the good work up, brother, man, and you ever play Sniper Elite? That's my game right there, brother.
I played that. Yeah, I did play that back in the day. Yeah, that's a good game. I think I pretty much almost beat that.
You got they got Sniper Elite 4. You played that one? I played 3 and 4 for PS4.
I think I played 4 on PC. I think I can't really remember, but I have played that.
I just love the kill when you hit a direct hit, don't you?
Yeah, when you see the camera slow down and all that.
Yeah, it goes through the body and breaks down what the hell he did to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, ABL, I'm letting everybody go. I know you got a lot of calls to get through. In chat room, hashtag Nutjob San Francisco. Let's start that movement. 2014, hashtag Nutjobs. All right, ABL. Peace up with Jerry Curl Juice, man. Peace.
All right, now, peace. All right, thank you to my man JB for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let's get to the next call. All right, call you on the line. 937, who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, Mr. Logan. Thanks for taking my call. My name is Bill. I really appreciate your show and your work. And wanted to chime in on a conversation earlier, but I can't get the image of going down to the local gun range and shooting baby animals out of my head.
That was crazy.
It's like, no wonder he hates guns. If they did that here, I'd be like, oh, that's not for me either. But anyways, it was a conversation earlier, a couple people on the thread about people being kind of raised to hate America, and it's true that they are, that's happening, but I think it's also important to understand that there is some truth to what they're saying about, and it's not Americans, but it's been like the CIA or American corporations going down and taking over the governments in these Latin American countries, and if people were getting living wages out of it and stuff, they wouldn't have no grievance. But instead, their countries get exploited, they get nothing out of it. So to them, capitalism looked awful, and so they thought, well, let's try communism. And I'm not saying it was a good call, but they were losing either way. You know what I mean? And I think, like, I came to the right from the left. You know what I mean? Like just the excesses and the abuses of liberals or Democrats in government over the past several decades pushed me so far left. I find myself more in agreement with people on the right on most issues than, regular progressives or liberals or whatever. But I think I see on both sides a kind of unwillingness to hear the other guy, because sometimes the other guy might be wrong in your perspective for where, what his conclusions are, but a lot of their points aren't necessarily wrong. And as long as we continue to not hear each other, it's going to be hard to make progress. Progress may not be a good word to use, but without being able to hear each other. You know what I'm saying? I just think, the one guy talking about, it's true. Like, I went to a liberal arts college, and the brainwashing was so obvious it was funny. You know what I mean? But I don't know where I was going with that. But so it is true. A lot of that, it's pushed. I think they perceive real bad things that have happened in the past and that continue to happen, and but they misdirect their anger, I guess, towards the American people, when it's really, I would say, politicians corrupted by money on both sides, Democrats and Republicans,
Mm-hmm.
And it's that big money that sets people against each other, and that could basically control the politicians. So I don't know what I wanted to say. Just, some of these people were making good points, but kind of like their anger, I felt like, was misdirected. You know what I mean? And we need to learn to hear each other better, I guess, is the main thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think some people just kind of get into their side, and they want to feel like they're correct and they're right without wanting to hear anything from anybody else that may think differently than them.
Right. Yeah. Like people, like a lot of people and I don't want to oversimplify, but they seem to think like Iran's history started in 1979 when they took our hostages. You know what I mean? There was, and I know that was a setup and stuff, but those people had some grievances with the way American power was used in their area to oppress them and enrich a handful of other multinational corporate people, and you know what I mean? So, or Venezuela. I mean, a lot of the reason those people thought, hey, let's try communism was unbridled capitalism was harming them. These oil companies were coming down and taking all their oil and not leaving them anything, and then leaving oil slicks in the swamps and stuff, just destroying their country ecologically as well as economically.
Yeah.
And so as long as we fail to recognize those people had some legitimate grievances, and we can't if we do want peaceful cooperation in the world and stuff like that, we got to recognize these people have a legitimate beef, but it's not necessarily with us. It's just with, again, those multinational powers that run governments to the benefit of a handful of people and screw everybody else. Excuse my language.
Nah, I understand. I understand 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, that's why I know you got a lot of callers. You're not easy to get hold of, so I'll have big room for the next caller. But thanks again for taking my call, and thanks for all your work. You do a great job.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
All right, now.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here as well. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Thank you for the super chats to Nick for the emoticon super chat. I appreciate that, boss. And shout out to my man Sushi, who says Happy New Year, ABL. Shout out to Biden for bringing back the learn to code insult to all hardworking Americans. Democrats never learn. Exactly. They never learn. They don't get it. They don't just take notes and say, okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. They just go do whatever they want to do, and it'll be the same mistakes that they made last time that cost them the election. So if they want to keep on doing that, that's fine. But, at a certain point, if you're doing the same thing over and over, you're not even really caring about how to actually win. And that's fine if they want to do that. Shout out to Brian Nolan, who says, everyone that appreciates ABL should tip him right now. $5 isn't too much for you to show your love. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Matt, who says Gillette's new woke advert has Joe shaving his legs. You talk about Joe Biden shaving them blonde legs. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Crush Grouping, who says, Happy New Year, AB Lincoln, a.k.a. ABL. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Stacy Felice, who says Woody Allen impersonator, talking about that San Francisco, quote-unquote, San Francisco guy, the barista or whatever he claimed to be. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Milos, who says Happy New Year, everybody. Hey, right back at you, man. Thank you for your donation as well. Thank you to Demented Liquor, who says Happy New Year to everyone. Well, thank you for your donation. Shout out to Political Trucker, who says, thanks for taking my call for the past 2 weeks. I'm a truck driver and watch all of your videos. Hey, thank you for your support, man. Definitely appreciate you. And thank you for the call as well. Shout out to Brazilian American Patriotic Soldier, who says 400,000 new firearms in Brazil. Bolsonaro, make Brazil great again, MBGA, with the prayer emoji. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Bolsonaro, the new president, making Brazil great again. And shout out to Matt, who says move nation's capital is move before, do it again. Now, where should it go? Where should the new capital of the USA be rather than D.C.? And if it moves, I think all the swamp will move with it. Now, that'd be good for Northern Virginia, but I hope they don't. It'd be bad for those that have to go to it'd be bad for those who live in a new spot. You understand what I'm saying? But shout out to Chief Rocker, who says, peace, ABL, do what you do. I think I read everything. Okay, so we good money. Oh, Matt also says, Commission on Presidential Debates, super liberal. All right, thank you for your donation. Let me get to the next call. Let's go. Hey, what's up on your line? Who am I speaking to?
Zorro, how are you, ABL?
I'm well. About yourself?
Oh, I'm fine. I got to thinking, to understand the left, you got to think like the left. And they're all about the genitalia. That's why they're into this LGBTQT. Did I leave any letters out?
Every letter.
Yeah, they're obsessed with genitalia. And if they had to rate genitalia on a virtue scale, 1 would be being the least virtuous, and 10 being a perfect 10, the most virtuous.
Be careful here, sir. Be careful.
Yes. One would obviously be the genitalia of Joe Biden, you know. And then a 10 would be the genitalia of, well, I want to say Kamala Harris, but not, you know what I mean. And so, anyway, in 2008, they had a big dilemma. They had Barack Obama against Hillary Clinton. So they had to decide, you know, on the one hand, she's a female, but on the other hand, she's white. On one hand, he's black, but on the other hand, he's a male. So that was a tough decision for them. So they made a compromise. They said, okay, we'll let Obama have it this time, and then Hillary will get it next time. But then, in 2016, here comes Donald Trump. And so that's why you saw that, I assume it was a female with the glasses screaming, no, because here came the white male genitalia and stole it from the white female genitalia, ruined the whole plan. So I'm hoping Larry Elder will run on the Republican ticket in 2024. That would be great. And then maybe even further down the road, Candace Owens could run, and that would blow their minds.
Oh, that'd be great. And it'll just what'll happen is the same thing they did with Ben Carson, because when Ben Carson ran, they were trying to call this man an idiot, an imbecile, a buffoon. It's like this is literally a brain surgeon, like not just figuratively as far as him being very smart, which he is, but literally a brain surgeon, and they called him a buffoon. They try to do the same thing with people like Larry Elder and Candace Owens. It's amazing how they say all this stuff about racism and trying to protect quote unquote people of color, but all that goes out the window when they disagree with them. So that'd be how that goes, and it'd be crazy to see. But hey, that's how the left operates.
Yeah, wasn't there a candidate recently who said something who implied that Ben Carson didn't have the intelligence to be over HUD?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was, but I'm sure that happened. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. It's like this. I mean, come on. Like, to be over HUD is kind of like, it's too easy for a guy like Ben Carson. I mean, if you could open somebody's head up and operate on their brain and they live, you can't just be a guy off the street who is unintelligent and do something like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was a funny thought, and I didn't get as deep as I wanted to since you cautioned me, but yeah, that bit has a lot of potential comedy, I think.
I see.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll let you go, and I've always enjoyed your call-in show. You have a good night, sir.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, you definitely got to be careful on that one because you don't want no problems that arise. All righty, let's get to the next call. All right, caller, you on the line. 317, who am I speaking to?
Hello, my name's Tom. I'm a third-time caller. And I just wanted to go over a couple of things in this episode. One thing, that guy with the flat earth, melting ice cubes in a cup and water keeping its own level does not make the earth flat. So please, when you get a guy like that, please just don't dignify absurdities. Hang up on him. And I know you're trying to be polite, but there's got to be a cutoff. The Pope thing, I don't really think that he did anything wrong at all because that guy is a political target, and sometimes they have to hide behind like 3 inches of bulletproof plexiglass. And personally, I mean, I would have yanked. I mean, she literally grabbed the guy by both hands. I saw the video. I would have done a lot worse than that personally. I don't think there should be a double standard for self-defense, especially when you're a political target. If not, then the double standard should go in favor of him, not in favor of political correctness.
Oh, yeah.
Do you agree? Or...
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, you can't just, be grabbing on people like that, especially when you're talking about the Pope or a president. I mean, you're definitely going to, like, what she got was just, that was okay. It's like, okay, let go of me now. Thank you. But my whole thing with the Pope is different things that he talks about. You're talking about the border and how it's inhumane to protect the border, but you have boundaries as the Pope, and you can't have anybody violate your boundaries. So, it's hypocritical for him to say that we can't protect our boundaries, but he can protect his. That's all.
Yeah, that is true. And I just wanted to say about the double standard. Well, I know that people, like you talked about the Chinese thing, general trends amongst races those are just facts in general. It's nothing to cry about, no matter which race it's on. They just want to control the conversation to the left. That is, with this political correctness and calling every single thing racism. It's just a tactic to get people to do what they want.
Yeah, I mean, with the Chinese, with the Chinese, it's just a matter of where they come from. Like, you know, people that come from Hong Kong don't do that because they have a different type of culture there. You know, you had the British that were there. They understand how to behave in crowds and they go out in public. When you're talking about mainland Chinese, they're very well known for not understanding how to really be when they leave, because for a long time they were isolated. They just were among themselves. It's only up until recently where they had contact with the outside world, unlike places like Hong Kong where they were colonized by the British for over 100 years and they understand how to deal with different cultures. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, cultural thing. What was the other part? I was going to mention about all the lefties wanting to do that political correctness and race calling, race baiting. They're actually the most racist people. I saw a thing this morning on someone's dating app. She put on her profile, she said, it said, "What's your biggest turnoff?" And she put racism and then explanation, "White people who say the N-word, swipe left." And I was like, wow, so white people can say it, but black people can't, and your answer is that you're against racism? What a hypocrite. Perfect example. And I had to snapshot that one and highlight it. So the left is the most racist people around, and they're really just trying to play the victim, and in fact doing the thing that they say that they're against. Playing the victim doesn't make you a hero. Being heroic, doing something heroic does, or at least if you're not going to do that, at least do something instead of just crying. That other thing that you mentioned about the gun registration, there's a video that came out recently on YouTube where this guy, they passed these laws in California that if you have an AR, whether it's a pistol, rifle, 80%, you made it yourself or you bought it, whatever, bought it at a gun show, you have to register it. And he did that and he obeyed the law. And they came to his house with like 5 guys in tactical gear, and they confiscated the gun, but not just the gun, all the mags and the extra stuff that he paid for, with the bullets in it.
Wow.
And wouldn't give him any of his stuff back, and gave him like this subpoena to go into court. And they said to him, the guy was trying to explain, he's like, look, I obeyed the law. And he's like, you guys made an oath to the Constitution. He's, look, I don't want to hear about the Constitution. There's also the California Constitution. I'm here to enforce the law. They don't care about their oaths. And they just, did this. And he said to him, if this goes through, the thing that I'm giving you a subpoena for, this is a felony. So this guy who did the law-abiding thing isn't going to be able to own any guns or probably even keep his job because he's going to be a felon because he obeyed the law. And there were, I think, 11,000 comments in that one video. They all were basically saying the same thing. This is what Mao did. This is what Hitler did. Don't register your guns. This is what it leads to. This is what happens when you're a good guy who owns guns and does what they tell you, etc. So, I mean, it's really bad. But the thing to counteract that is those sanctions. I believe you live in Virginia, don't you?
I'm from Virginia, but I live in Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, I live in Indiana. That Virginia sanction, Second Amendment sanction things, that's what they need, but it can only happen in states where the Overton window is much more, people are much more accepting of guns and stuff like that. So it's got to be, a very a social movement as well as a legal one. And as far as the guns, I had 2 questions. One of them was, what do you favor for carry weapon?
I like a 9mm. I like a 9mm. I have a Glock 45, not a 45 caliber, but a Glock 45. It's like a 17 and a 19 put together.
Yeah, I think they call it 19X or something. Yeah.
Well, they have those, but I don't have that. I have the 45. It's a little bit different, but similar.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't like the 45. I like the Model 23. It's 40 caliber, 13+1. Other one, they have, about that, the thing I was going to say about the guns was in the church there, they had, I watched the video, you can see it on LiveLeak, because they like to censor everything in the U.S., but YNC and LiveLeak and Contraband.com always has these, videos that they don't want you to see. So I went and looked at it. And the time that happened, from the time that the guy pulled the shotgun to the time when he was dead was 6 seconds total. And the time that the shots from the first shot fired to the third one, which ended it, was only 3 seconds. And that saved, I don't know how many, I think there was over 250, he said in the interview, in that one church. And I don't know how many bullets the guy had. They hadn't said that yet, but he saved a lot of lives there. And when this thing happened in the Colorado theater, I think it was in 2013, there was 72 people hit, 12 of them dead. They summoned 8,000 jury members for his trial, cost the state millions of dollars. He's in jail for the rest of his life. And I guess he can thank people for using cell phones instead of carrying guns. And that's the benefit of not carrying a gun. You get more people dead. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, that's the only way to help yourself is to stop it right then and there. If you dial 911 on your cell phone, you end up dead, or other innocent people do. Another thing I was asking about was
I got a limited time here because we're almost at the end of the show. I got to try to get in a few more calls, man. So I don't mean to cut you off, but I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get to a few more calls here. Let's get to the next call. Oh, let's go. 561, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? All right, 561. I don't know what happened, but I tried to get you on. It didn't work. Thank you for being here. Okay, hold on. Let's try to get 561 back. 561, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. This is Jay from South Florida. How you doing, man?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. I wanted to ask you, what's your New Year's resolution for 2020?
I don't do those normally. You know, all I'm gonna do is just keep on pushing. You know, I'm trying to just keep on producing content. You know, my main thing is just focusing on just my channel and just trying to get the message out there. We got the election coming up, so I'll be going hard for that. I'll be trying to do some more interviews and try to do some more traveling too. So I'm just trying to advance in my personal life and also with the channel. That's pretty much it. But no resolution though.
Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah, me probably lose a little weight and start school and then save a little money, but that's basically it.
Oh, definitely. That's good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, man, I see that CNN, MSNBC, and NBC are attacking Christians. Why would they vote for Donald Trump? And like Brandon Tatum was breaking it down on his video, and I totally agree with what he was saying, is that we didn't vote for a pastor. We vote for a man who stands for some, Christian values. Like, why would we vote for Democrat knowing that they support murdering? If you look at the word murder, it says put an end to it. That means put an end to life. Why would I support that if you're a Christian? Why would you support, the other thing, taking away the Second Amendment, even feminism and these other things and welfare, like all these things? Why would we support that? You know what I'm saying? So, like, CNN was trying to figure out why they vote for Donald Trump. Even Bill Maher was talking about we're hypocrites. How you vote for a man who married 3 times, grabbed a woman by the vagina and all that other things, and like come on, you don't know Trump repenting. We don't even know. So like I said, it's not about him. It's about the policy. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you said, we're not voting for God. We're not voting for a religious leader. We're voting for a guy that's going to do a job. You know, when you hire a person to do a job, like let's say you're working at McDonald's or something like that, or you hiring somebody to go cook the fries. Like, I'm not worried about, if they're a perfect person. It's like, okay, can you make the fries or not? Are you going to be on time or not? When I'm hiring the president, by casting my vote, it's like, okay, are you going to do X, Y, and Z? That's pretty much it. All the other stuff don't even really matter to me because it's not even about that. It's about just getting the job done. Now, my personal faith in the way I handle my life is the way I handle my life. That's not going to be dictated or determined by the president of the United States.
Well, exactly. And my last point. So, Amazing Lucas versus Brandon Tatum. Have you been watching that?
I've been watching it, yes.
They're having a debate whether I don't know the story with the father, like he got sentenced to 8 years, something about him killing a man, some bathroom with a daughter, or something like that. And I'm more on Brandon Tatum's side because I can't agree with Lucas anymore because Lucas is losing some credibility with things he's been saying. He lost credibility with another video he did before, and Brandon Tatum had a different point. I don't know if Central Park Fire one of them, but like liberal, I mean, not liberal, but they call him Lucas liberal Lucas now. But Lucas is losing it, man. I'm more with Brandon, and this debate going on, man. I don't know if it's really Lucas is not really with the program anymore, or he just, I don't know what's going on with him, man.
He's probably just changing. I think he's pretty young. He's like 25 or 26. So, I was older than him when I had my red pill moment and became conservative. So he might just be going a different direction, kind of an anti-police thing. Like, here's what's happening in case anybody doesn't know. There was a man, I think it was in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He took his 16-year-old daughter to the corner store. This is like at night, if I'm not mistaken. Now she goes into the bathroom of the corner store, and the father does not go into the store. He stays in the car. Now she's in the stall using the bathroom. I think her friend or sister was in there with her outside the stall. A man comes in the bathroom and rattles her door. He does not talk to the girl. He does not gain entry into the door. He rattles the door, walks past the other girl that's right in the bathroom with the girl, and leaves. Now, the girl who was in the bathroom goes back outside and tell her dad, hey, a man tried to come into the bathroom when I was in there. So what the father does is, I think he tells the security or whatever, and they probably told him we can't do anything because they leave. The father and the daughter and her friend or whatever, they leave, and the father comes across the guy close to where the store is, like in this dimly lit or not lit lot. He goes up to the guy, approaches him, and beats him to death. Now, I don't know if he tried to kill him or what, but he beat him down, and the guy died. Now, people like Lucas are saying that it was wrong for the guy to get sentenced to 8 years. But a couple of things here. First of all, it was a plea bargain. So he said, okay, I don't want to go through a jury trial. I'm going to just take the 8 years. He was charged with aggravated assault first. Then it became murder when the guy died, because you can't just go up to a person after a situation happens and just beat him down because there's no threat. If the father was right in the place with the daughter and he sees the man go into the bathroom, he's able to go in after the man and confront him and say, hey, is everything good here? And if at that point the guy becomes like he want to fight, then they can fight and it's self-defense. But if it's after the fact and there's no more danger, you can't go up to the person, beat them down and kill them. That's like if somebody put a gun in my face and robs me or try to rob me, I can't go find them 2 weeks later and kill them at their house. That's called revenge. That's called vigilantism. If you go to a jury trial, they may find you innocent, maybe, if you got a compassionate jury, or they may find you guilty and give you 25 with the L or something crazy like that. So he did not want to roll the dice with the jury where he could have got off. He pled down to the 8 years, which is appropriate because there was no threat. He went up to the guy for revenge for scaring his daughter into thinking that she may be raped by the guy shaking on the door, where he could have just been crazy, not knowing where he was at, or high on drugs, which is probably what was going on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I would have handled it differently than I thought. Like if someone actually touched my daughter, it would be a problem, but I wouldn't kill him. I probably don't touch my daughter, and then we'll call the police. But because I have self-control, I don't have anger like that. I could tell like I have like anger issues. I wouldn't go as far as that, and then you knock him down, fine. But then you want to keep going and kill him? Nah, man. Now you're really asking for it. So I wouldn't agree with killing the man, and I guess everybody's different. But so you seem like you're agreeing with more Brandon Tatum's side than Lucas.
Oh yeah, all day. Lucas don't understand like the law. He don't understand. You can't just kill somebody because the girl was scared. You can't do that. That's not legal to do. And if you want to do that, you got to understand there's consequences for that. You can go to jail behind that because it's not legal. maybe a jury may find you innocent, maybe, because it was one case where a guy, something actually did happen. His young son got kidnapped by his karate teacher. This was like back in the 80s or 90s. The karate teacher kidnapped his son, allegedly molested the son, and he had fled to like a different state and everything. Well, they found his son. I don't know if he died or what, but the guy got flown back. And as he's going through the airport, the dad was in the airport pretending to be on the phone. And as the guy walked past him, he pulls his gun out, bangs him right in the head on camera. Now, now the guy went to trial and beat it. The jury did not convict him, but he could have pled guilty and he could have been behind the wall for 15 years. But he found a compassionate jury because the person kidnapped his son and raped him and took him to a whole different state. But in this case, nothing happened. Like, the guy didn't even do anything to the girl. He just shut the door and that's it. So he knew he was wrong after he did what he did. That's why he took the plea bargain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So Luke is wrong, man. Because I thought you were gonna make a video on that because you would have been like the deciding factor between Brandon and Lucas. So
I may do one on that. I may do one.
Okay. All right, ABL, man. Thanks, man. Nice talking to you, man. I guess I will talk to you another time, man.
Thank you for the call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I may do a video on that just to be the deciding factor because you can't just go, like, even if something did happen, you can't just go do something. Now, if you do that, you got to understand you rolling the dice. If you go and get revenge on a person, you got to understand that that's not actually legal to do that. Vigilante killings, revenge, that's not legal to do that. You may find a jury that's compassionate and lets you get off, but you may not. You just rolling the dice at that point with your life. And is it worth it? You know, it is what it is. Let me get to the next call. Nippin, what's happening?
Oh, not much. So the Pope has decided to do something I would never have expected.
Yeah, hey, slapping the lady's hand. He's like, yo, get off me.
He could have said that without slapping the lady's hand.
Yeah, but hey, she won't let him go. So it's like, hey, what am I going to do? But, if you're the Pope, you may need to set a better example, I suppose. But if it were me, I think that would have been appropriate because let go of my hand,
Yeah. I would just not slap. I would just get my two hands and do this. And physically remove her hand.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, a Texas church shooting. How many died?
Only 2 passed away. It's a tragedy, but it could have been a lot worse. And the reason why it wasn't worse than what it was is because people in the church were armed. Like the parishioners, people that were going to church, were able to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first couple people got shot, the shooter got shot by a church member.
Was the shooter one of the 2 casualties?
The shooter was a 3rd casualty. So 3 people died, including the shooter.
Okay. You should have said that instead because you said 2 people died.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah. The text and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Anthony.
Oh, same to you, man. Happy New Year.
And Biden hates coal miners. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The Democrats wanted the support of coal miners. I don't remember when. And now hating on them is definitely going to get them the support. Bravo! I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. The Democrats are a gift that keep on giving. So by all means, continue to do what you're doing.
Right, exactly. I say keep on doing it because it helps me. It helps us win the election in 2020. So keep on. If that's your game plan to insult people to try and get their vote, then keep on doing it. You're doing a fantastic job.
Exactly. Did we talk about Trump being removed from Home Alone in the previous one?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, we did talk about it. I remember saying they knew exactly what they were doing when removing the 5-second cameo of Donald Trump. I remember exactly what he says. Down the hall and to your left.
Yep, that was it. They cut that out, and then they were trying to say, "Oh, well, we just cut that out because we're trying to get a commercial in there." It's like, no, there's no need for a commercial right there. That's a pretty popular part of the movie that you believe in. You cut it out because you did not want to highlight Donald Trump on your network. There was no need to do that other than that.
So, yeah, that's that. Oh, yeah, and I don't know if it was a few days ago, but there was another shooting in Illinois. Apparently the Democrats stayed quiet about that.
Oh, yeah, always.
Because the shooter was he a Republican?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, we don't know.
Yep. So what else we got?
Yeah, Chuck Todd bashes Christians live on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to get votes. Just insult your entire fan base. Yeah. I think that's the best way to lose votes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to lose votes. You really can't be doing that, you know.
Yeah, insult someone and expect them to vote for you is a bit like me turning up to a 5-star hotel dressed in this. And
right.
Expecting to be exactly that. Expecting someone to vote for you after insulting them is a bit like me expecting to be admitted into a 5-star hotel wearing my pajamas.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Exactly.
So yeah, what exactly was this Chuck Todd bashing Christians?
Well, he was on NBC talking about a thing. It's kind of a long story, actually. You got to watch the video. But basically, he was just insulting Christians, talking about if you believe in Noah's Ark, then you believe in fairy tales.
Okay. How did that insult Christians?
Because Noah's Ark is a Christian. It's part of the Christian faith. Like, that's part of the Bible. So basically, you're saying that if you believe in the Bible, you believe in fairy tales. Like, you're calling Christianity a fairy tale. And that's not very nice. I mean, he would not do that about Islam. He would not say that Islam is a fairy tale.
Yeah, that's because if he's found out, he'd be executed.
Hey, yeah, he don't want that. So he definitely wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't going to be executed, I'm pretty sure he'd do that as well.
Well, hey, who knows?
Yeah. So, what did you do on New Year's Eve?
Not much, really. You know, just kind of hanging out. Because I don't go out on New Year's Eve because it's always amateur hour when you go out on New Year's Eve. People don't go out all year except for New Year's Eve, and then they don't understand how to maneuver and operate in the out world. So, not in the out world, but in the party scene, basically, they don't understand how to operate, and it's always a mess. People can't drive, they drink. It's a mess. So, I just stay at the crib, just hang out, man. But hey, I got to get one more call, and then I got to wrap up, man. So thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
It was nice catching up with you, ABL.
Oh, likewise, man.
I shall see you on Saturday.
All right. See you then.
Yeah, see you then.
Peace.
Peace.
All righty, my man Nipping with the call. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, going out on New Year's Eve is like, it's a mess. It's like going out to shop on Christmas Eve. Yeah, definitely amateur hour. Because I used to, that's kind of a long story. Let me get to the next call. American Joe, what's going on?
What is happening, ABL, my friend?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain.
Looks like I caught you as you're getting ready to go off the air, huh?
Hey, you had great timing.
Hey, I just wanted to give a couple minutes to Virginia and what's going down there, my friend. Are you confirmed whether or not you're going to be there January 20th?
I'm not confirmed yet. If I do go, I'll probably drive up. but I'm gonna try to get out there. That's my goal. So I'll probably know within the next couple of days.
Can you let me know when you know? Drop me an email. I'd like to meet up with you out there. There's a lot of stuff going down, and a lot of intelligence coming out of Virginia right now that's not being covered by mainstream media at all. Nobody's really touching it with a 10-foot pole. And there's only a few channels that are really talking about it. Guns and Gadgets with Jared, Douglas Ducote, my channel, Brad Bishop, Lions Republic are the ones that are covering it as much as possible. There's a lot of things coming down the pipeline for Virginia that I want people to know if they're planning on showing up. So I just want to encourage I don't know if any of your listeners are going to be going to Virginia, but if they are, they need to know what's happening over there, my friend.
Okay.
So it's just a lot of stuff. I know you've probably heard about the rumors of National Guards, the National Guard being used, and then the head of the National Guard coming out saying that's not happening. We've got reports from within Virginia, from within the National Guard, saying that that's all. They're saying all that for the publicity, for the press, but they will be on the ground. The National Guard will be on the ground with orders if things kick off. So we also got reports of MS-13 members being there. We know Antifa's in the area, of course, and BLM's there. And we also have reports of Nazi groups being there. Right now, they've been spotted patrolling multi-tier garages that are near the area with high vantage points, so we don't exactly know what their intentions are. But we've got a lot of ex-law enforcement officers that are in that area that are reporting back information to us. So we're going to keep it going out to as many people as possible, because with 20, 30, 40,000 people showing up, it could turn really bad really fast,
Right, definitely.
So that's it, my man. So if you go, take care of yourself out there.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
All right, man. That's all I got.
Thank you for the call, man. Hey, tell everybody how to get in contact with you, man. Tell everybody about your channel.
Oh, it's the American Joe Show. You guys can find me. I'm around. Just type in American Joe, and you'll see me on YouTube. ABL has been a big inspiration to my channel, and he's helped me a lot to reach new people, so I appreciate you, ABL. And I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, man. I hope you had a great time with the family.
Oh, definitely, man. Hopefully you did as well.
All right, sir. Have a good night.
All right, now. All right, that was my man, American Joe. Thank you for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Great information about Virginia. So if you're going to be up there on, I think that'd be January the 13th is going to be a rally. And also, I think the big one to be on January 20th. If you're going to be up there, be safe. For sure. You don't want, Charlottesville 2.0 to be happening. Just be safe. All righty. Thank y'all for joining. I most certainly appreciate you. You guys are being fantastic. Bikers for Trump going to be there. I know one thing. If I go to Virginia, I'm going to have all you people that are out there protecting me, supporting me. So I don't got no worries. But at the same time, I want to be careful just to make sure everything's on the up and up. But that will be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here. I will be back again live on Saturday from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And shout out to all the moderators. You guys are doing a great job tonight. We got Michelle A. Ansel, Bill from the Hills, Elijah Jean. Everybody's in here. Kilo Shishi, of course. Thank you all for sniping them trolls out of the chat. And shout out to the last super chat. So I'm going to read those right quick before we wrap it on up with a bow on the top. Shout out to... hold on, let me just refresh. Shout out to Crush Groover who says, well, Happy New Year all. Thanks, Misha A. and the ABL. Love you all. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Hey, thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Most certainly appreciate it. Thank you to Kelly for your donation. I appreciate you as well. Thank you to Zoro for your donation who says, Happy New Year, ABL. Right back at you, boss. Shout out to Daniel who says, Ben Carson's story is interesting. He almost killed his brother in the fight. Then mother took away his TV. And he had to read. The rest is history. Literal brain surgeon. Exactly. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Sushi who says, Dear Flat Earthers, a.k.a. Global Skeptics. Every visible planet in our galaxy is round through a telescope. You can observe 3,706 planets. None are flat. There you go. Boom. Thank you for your donation. And those intelligent, 400 IQ words. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Black Roses 750 who says, always supporting what I feel is right. God bless. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Cortez Phoenix who says, Happy New Year. What are your favorite books? I don't really read a lot of books anymore, to be honest with you. I'm trying to write mine, so I don't want to have other books kind of cloud my vision. And also, I read a lot of articles. Like, most of my day is spent reading news articles. Like, I do that probably about 2 hours a day every day, reading news articles and reading news websites. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Eric Rich who says, I have a Biden pick in his KKK robe, leaking it. Hey, go ahead and put it out there. Shout out to Bill Monahan. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name for the donation. I definitely appreciate you. And that will be a wrap for Super Chats. I appreciate all you guys for doing what you do. You guys have been great. Without y'all, I couldn't even do anything. And that'll be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.